Yeah, big talking brewskis. Marissa Smith is who you see. Water cooler combo in here. Crack a cold one, we're on the air. Big talking brewskis. Marissa Smith is who you see. Water cooler combo in here. Crack a cold one, we're on the air. Kicking back, having a few beers, we're chatting. Pull up your chair, we're all relaxing. Any subject, we never dismiss. Big talking brewskis with Marissa Smith. Comedy, sex, relationships, more. Any subject, we got it in store. Big talking brewskis is coming in live. Crack when open, Marissa has arrived. Big talking brewskis with Marissa Smith. Yeah.
Hey guys, happy Sunday. This is a special Sunday edition of Big Talkin' Brewskis. I'm Marissa Smith. As always, I've got Rodney Daniels with me.
What's up, guys? Happy Sunday.
What's up? What's up? Happy Sunday, guys.
We've got Dylan Negri with us.
You.
And we've got DC Williams.
Hi, how art thou?
So, Rodney, how's your week been?
My week's been good. That last Friday we did a show, right?
Yes,
we
we
had
had Broadway.
We had
This
Broadway.
past Friday.
This past Friday we had Broadway.
Yes.
But the Friday before that we had our podcast, and then afterwards I went and I did Queer Abstract, this show in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And I got booed.
Whoa.
Wow.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
So obviously to tell a story, but
yeah.
do you think it had anything to do with it being Brooklyn and you being gay, or was it just?
Well, see,
it's
that
a
was
gay show,
that was my
right?
whole thing. It's a LGBTQ show. It's not a comedy show though. It's kind of like a variety show where there's spoken word artists.
Okay.
There's rappers. There was some musical artists, and there were a couple comics. Now, all the comics that went up there were four of us. Two of them like just kind of talked about like regular shit, and the other one, the first one that went up, she was a lesbian black chick that talked about like, you know, strap-ons and dildos, and like, so I literally wrote like a whole set about, you know, being gay and my experiences with like transgender and all, and I got booed in the middle of the set. Yeah. Like, because I made a joke about glycoclimasia.
Oh,
like
for
man
the
boobs.
people, for people that don't know what that is.
That's what, like, when men grow boobs.
Breast.
Ew.
Breasts,
so like
actual breasts.
I'm out.
Oh, there was like a
Checking out.
character, I think, in Fight Club. It was like Bitch Tit Bob.
Right, right.
Yo, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Bitch Tip Bob. That's a
Yeah.
quality ass name.
Yeah.
Right.
Bitch Tit Bob. Yeah.
So I had a bitch tip Bob joke. And it just, I guess, literally, like, there were maybe 60 people in the room, and 40 of them, or 50, were, like, black gay women.
Okay.
And so that joke just didn't, I got booed.
It's like, how
Somebody
do you
was
not
like,
like titties?
Somebody was like, you're transphobic. And I was just like,
No way.
Yeah.
No, so that's fucked up. And it made me think about something. We were looking at open mics the other day, and we were just trying to find a show. And he found the show. It was in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
And it said on it, it was like, female comics get 5 minutes, male comics get 3 minutes, and if you leave after your set, we will boo you. I was like,
female comics get an extra 30 seconds for some reason. It was a 3-minute mic. Females get an extra 30 seconds.
that's what it was. Okay.
what?
And like in my head, I was like, that's how like these 15-year-old, 18-year-old girls are like, things are about equality. Girls get 30 extra seconds. And it's like, that's the one thing is for you, it's like, as a gay male going to an LGBTQ show, you think that would be the one space you can talk about everything.
That's exactly.
Like all about the taboo things about being gay.
Right.
And everyone's like, yeah, I fuck with it. Because even when you did the Friday show, you know, when you start talking about big black dick and all these things, you're like, all right, well, most of these people aren't gay.
right.
So I know
So,
who
like,
my
I was
audience
already
is.
stepping lightly, like,
Treading.
just in general, treading lightly, like,
But
when
you
I
shouldn't
do
have
regular,
to.
but that's why I went hard talking about everything.
You know who needs to
like,
tread
my
lightly?
whole set.
My ass. My pale, pasty, straight white male ass going into that show.
Yeah.
If I was up there being like, those fucking trannies, they'd be like, get off stage.
Yeah.
And but that's how they treated me, as if like I was you.
All right, Ronnie, that was much. I have feelings. But that's the interesting.
That's like
just when I
entitlement.
got booed, I felt like you on a daily.
That's like straight up entitlement Olympics, though. It's like even though you're
Absolutely.
gay, you're still a man. Like,
But the
because
thing
I
is-
feel like if a crowd was like mostly other gay men, they probably would not have booed you. But I also kind of feel like because it was a gay crowd, it's just like, so you take dick in the ass. What's next? Because it's like it doesn't
Bingo.
like. For straight crowds, it's like, oh, well, you know something? This black gay guy might have some information that I don't know about.
Right. Let me
But,
lean
like,
in
for,
and listen
like-
a little bit more.
Right, but for like gay people, it's like, bitch, we know. Like,
Yeah.
tell us,
Right.
And
yeah,
also
tell
the-
us, like, you know, about your dad. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like I think that they probably, I don't know. I'm just speculating, but I feel like if you might have done like a coming out story as opposed to,
It would have been cheer.
yeah.
But like that's
Oh,
what I'm trying,
wow.
and that's what I was telling you
Okay.
about. Remember on the last podcast I was
Coming
on.
out story. I've never done one of those. That's like on my to-do list now.
No, but I like
Like,
I don't know,
gotcha.
because I feel like if like just
Right,
like
'cause I
being
didn't- but
gay, it's like a
That's
wealth of
plain-
material.
But
But
what she's
it is
saying
like a wealth of
is-
material, but I didn't want to just talk about regular shit. Just
But no, but she's
because-
talking about like you could have literally played to the crowd. Like that's what she's saying with the coming out story is when you're talking to some like young gays. Let's just put it like that. I don't know what the crowd was. Like obviously you can read the room, but like that's what I said is there should be nothing that's off limits. Like you know what I'm
Right.
trying to
Right.
say. Like you know like if DC went to like an all black show and all said and then said like let's say the N word and all of them were like started booing him, I think he'd be like, wait, what's going on right now? Like this, like or even talking about you know, whatever it is, and then
I
getting
can't
booed.
say it because I always do a hard R.
it slips out sometimes for me.
That's funny.
Like I've caught myself like, oh shit, that just slipped out. It's like, oh nigga. Like,
Yeah, I enunciate too much to drop the N word.
Yeah.
The
I try
only
to make
N
sure
word
it's
that I
joke
drop is my
appropriate
last
usually.
name. What up, my
Yeah.
negries?
I try to always make sure it's joke appropriate. Sometimes I'm like, can I say this joke without it, or is this joke better with it, or like you know?
I
is it
just
worse
never
off?
use it. I'm just like
Yeah.
I'm like I've always never used it.
Me neither, me
so
neither.
like yeah, well you should not use it.
right, right.
You know.
That's a lie. We hang out together. But,
Listen, J. Cole
I
has
would
some
say
fire
something though
verses.
in reference to what you were saying earlier is that I understand that you would expect gay people to be more receptive to your content, but I feel like who's to say that? Because a lot of people like they'll put on TV shows, whatever they're doing to cater to a particular demographic, and who's to say that gay people are gonna like this piece of content just because it's gay? You know, because gay people they you know they can be introspective. It's not always just is it just fucking gay sex? You know, sometimes and it can be more than that. And I guess you can't always like I don't always expect to immediately be received by a black audience or you know like it's hard to just say like oh they're gay. How come they weren't receptive? Well, maybe you know maybe they still have taste and certain humor in what they like. So.
I mean, well, I came into it with the perspective of being in an open space,
Right.
Being
okay.
in an open LGBTQ queer.
What did they boo
space.
at though?
Okay, so the way that the way I wrote my joke,
Uh-huh.
well, the set in general was I did the 4 tops where I talk about like taking dick in the ass.
Uh-huh.
Then the second portion was about me meeting a guy that has gynecomastia. He has man boobs. I wasn't like into that.
Right.
But like the third part,
And they had a problem with your body preference or something?
No, I just kind of like in the joke I talk about
he
how like
tit shamed him.
I tit shamed him. Kinda.
Dead.
And they had a problem with that.
That's where the room went south.
So are you not
so-
allowed to have a body
So tell me something. So like,
But
so,
wait, but I didn't get to the end of the joke. But the end of the joke, I actually end up fucking a female to male transgender. I couldn't get to that portion of the joke because I got booed in the middle of the joke.
But like, so tell me something. When it was literally like, let's say like 20 years ago, when like it was taboo to even be gay. It's like we just want to be loved for our taste and our love is love, right? Like I just want to be accepted from my point of view. And then that's what I'm trying to say. It gets to a point where remember on the last podcast I was talking about how when comics start going PC, like when you go to that crowd and you can't start talking about like tit shaming, like they didn't even let you finish the joke. It's like you didn't even let me finish
Right, because
the
it was a
joke.
long form story to like where at the end of the story you would have seen I'm not transphobic because I'm having sex with
If you ask anyone in that room,
gender
that's like,
people.
Yeah, it's like I don't like men with tits, but I like men with vaginas.
But I like men with vaginas. Right. That was the whole end of the story, which was like in my opinion, when I wrote it, and I've done it in different pieces throughout different sets that I've done, and it always kills all the pieces.
But why can't you just like what you like without having the need to feel like you have to appease everyone else's likes? Like I feel like people want you to like everything, and you can't really like everything. Doesn't matter if it's a person.
And that's was also my point. And just I'm coming from my own perspective as a queer person. This is my perspective,
right?
But I think a big part of it is the fact that it's like not a comedy show crowd. Like there are people that are coming to see
I was talking
comedy
about this,
specifically, as opposed to this is kind of a variety show. Maybe some people are there to hear more spoken word stuff,
and
they just are not in the mindset.
That's what I used to do.
This is a joke. I'm joking. No, I'm not boob shaming, tit shaming. Bob,
well, that explains it.
You were tit shaming like a motherfucker.
I'm tit shaming like a motherfucker, but I don't even joking.
Like titties,
what?
I'm not even into titties like that. You just said
that makes two of us.
Oh, no, I like girl. I'm more of like a.
I was gonna say, wait, you're straight?
yeah. But I'm not into I'm not really like a big boob guy. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
okay.
Everybody has a preference. You know, I'm into testicles.
Nobody's into testicles. I don't even care if you're gay. You're not into testicles. Testicles never look good.
Yo, you ever sucked on a testicle?
I've never sucked on a testicle.
Let me tell you, the look on the guy's face when you suck on his testicles. Who?
You know
why?
I feel like testicles go downhill the second a guy gets over 27, because like then that's when they start getting loosey goosey and dropping. It's
saggy
like
balls.
Saggy balls. I'm just not into saggy balls. Like balls look weird to begin with, but like when they start getting like fucking dropping in the toilet length, like no. No,
that's
not having it.
When you need to take off his socks to find his balls, then we have a problem.
Oh,
it's
like, okay, there they are.
It's like that's a funny thing. Is like I always end up dating like younger guys just because like I'm just like, oh,
they got nice tight balls.
They got the nice tight balls. They do.
Yeah, damn. It's like right there.
I don't want to see these old wrinkly balls.
Exactly.
And they start the gray pubes. No, thank you, sir.
You want the anti-gravity test?
Gray pubes.
I feel that.
Talk about that too. I like gray pubes. Nothing wrong with it.
No.
I'm just trying to embrace it, prepare myself for it.
If you're getting gray,
you are a child, sir.
I know, but I had gray hairs in high school though. That was the thing.
How old are you?
25.
Okay.
Yeah. They would tell me it made me wise or something, and I was like,
child.
Yeah. That was a good decade.
Right. Thanks. Cheers.
Yeah, you were a good decade too, so go find yourself.
Well, hold on.
You all look pretty young here, though.
Black don't crack. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no.
You have no idea how much money a month I spend on moisturizer.
Yo, for real.
It's weird when you guys ever dated outside like your race.
Yeah.
Currently,
do they like get? But do they like look at like when you lotion? Do they like look at you like, wow, that's a lot of lotion?
I lotion in private.
I don't lotion in front of people. No, well, my current
like
boo is
my
black.
lotioning is my business.
Back in high school, every kid on the football team would like that one like black girl in class would, like take out her lotion and they'd be like, and they'd pass it around like it's like a blunt, and they just all lotion up.
You might have forgot to lotion before you left school, man. School that
well,
day.
When we did karaoke, and this guy came up to me and he was just like, "Yo, my hands are dry. Do you have any lotion?" And I've never been so insulted as a black woman before in my life. It's like, you don't think as a black woman in winter that I have lotion in my purse? Like, do you think I'm like some sort of vagrant or something?
Of course I do. Right.
Have you ever seen my ass ashy ever? No.
You are always moisturized.
I am always moisturized.
And on that note, here you go.
It's like, and it's shea butter, bitch. Like, no, I'm not walking around these streets with no fucking lotion in winter.
A white person asks you for lotion, you look at them side eye. But a black person asks you for lotion, you like, oh, bitch, I got you.
He was Puerto Rican, but like, I'm just kind of like, you know something? Like, I felt insulted.
They be thinking that they don't, though.
Nah, they be needing lotion.
It's just because they're the color of their ash. That is the
right.
reason.
Exactly. You can't see it clearly.
But like, no, it's just like I was insulted. Like, I like that right there. I understood why people get upset when they are like misgendered. It was just kind of like, you think I'm the kind of black woman that goes out in the winter that doesn't have lotion? Like really?
You think that's what he was insinuating, or
No, he was just asking for lotion.
Yo,
But, like,
as a white guy, I'm just like, I'm not gonna comment on it, but like, I'm like, damn.
I thought you'd be more mad at the fact that he looked around and was like, oh, yeah, there's a black woman over there. She got lotion.
No, he was just like, you were standing there. He was just like, does anybody got lotion? Do you have lotion? And looks to me like, do you have lotion? Like,
feel that.
are you asking me if I have? Yes, I have lotion.
Of course.
I got lotion. I got 4 different kinds of chapstick in my bag.
So wait. This is what I'm getting. This is what I'm getting. This is what I'm beginning
You don't
to
know
hear.
how dry your lips are gonna be. Like you got the like, oh,
This
they're
is-
not that dry.
Oh my-
You got
This
that.
is what
these
I'm
are
beginning
dry
to
as
hear.
shit.
You were just mad that he was right.
No, I was mad that he asked. He should just been like, "Can I have some lotion?"
okay? So just know I have it and ask for it.
Like, it's
You
like,
should've just
how-
assumed.
Worse.
Yeah, he's just
If I walked
assumed.
up and was just like, "Yo, can I have some lotion?" I'd be like, "Why are you assuming I have lotion?"
I've had a
'Cause I
situation
definitely
like
got
that
lotion.
where I
Lotion- you have
at-
lotion
at
currently.
one point I assumed most black
Oh,
women
I
can
know,
do
she
hair,
is.
like all of them, just growing up. And as I got older and I grew up and lived in different cities and stuff, you realize that every black girl doesn't know how to do hair, and you can't expect every black girl to know how to do hair, but you do like at least braid, at least braid. But it's not true.
I'm gonna
Everybody
do
can
it
hair.
2-strand, but not well.
Right.
Like-
But when you grow up with the notion thinking that all black girls can do hair, like just naturally, like it's just a part.
I
of
love
it.
how Ronnie does his hair.
Yeah.
every
I shave
day.
this every day. I didn't shave today though. I'm a little fuzzy.
Do you use a razor or
I do.
Clippers? Oh,
I
wow.
do. Gillette, the 5,
shaving cream?
and shaving cream. Yeah.
Gillette the vet.
Yeah.
Like
they're
any
all-
wax? Do you like wax your head?
No, I just shave my head.
Okay.
I didn't
The
even
rest
know
of it-
waxing a head was a thing.
Is that a thing?
I don't know. I've heard.
He's
I've
just
heard
asking
someone say
questions.
that. Yeah, just to get it as clean and as shiny
Yeah,
as
no.
possible.
No, I shave it.
He has like
every
a car
day.
buffer.
Right, but I'm like mad hairy like everywhere else.
Yeah, me too, bro. I'm gonna make hairy.
You show me some gang signs?
We can
Yo,
compare
Vato.
chest hairs, bro. Like,
Oh,
I'm like
that's,
I just have
it gets
Jew hairs.
bushy, fam.
that's real
Yeah.
hot.
At least somebody thinks so. A lot of girls don't think so. So white girls like it. Asian girls don't like it, and black
Let
girls
me
just.
tell you, black gay guys love it.
Oh, do they?
Right.
I wish that could help me, man.
I don't know. I'm just not into body hair.
You're not into body. You know what's
Yeah.
so funny? I realized that
It
most
turns me on, yo.
really.
I love it.
You're not into body. I feel like so you have to date like an African dude because I feel like they're naturally hairless. The ones that are actually from Africa.
Jamaicans and stuff.
Jamaicans be hairy. I'm Jamaican, bro. I'm a hairy dude, but I have like Irish in my family.
But no,
like, I'm a hairy
for
dude.
Jamaicans, it's a spectrum. Some of y'all are hairy, and some of them hairless. It's real, just like some of y'all.
What,
is
like
a lot
long
of us
haired
are like-
chihuahuas and
Right.
short haired
Right,
chihuahuas?
because some Jamaicans are like light skinned, like
Yeah,
real.
yeah,
Damn, you got blue eyes,
Yeah.
Rihanna looking. The
yeah,
fuck.
for sure.
And then
sure.
other ones are like black, like this
A
one.
lot of us are mixed.
That's when
man,
fucking
man.
the British fucking
Yeah.
sailed over and they were like, "Oh, this
That-
is cool."
That and the
Mm,
Irish,
mm,
man.
mm.
The Irish were enamored with Caribbean pussy. For
Caribbean
sure. They
puss.
were all about it.
I,
Well, I
I,
feel like the Irish accent and the Jamaican accent.
It's kind of
sounds-
close.
Yeah,
they're
weirdly
similar.
close.
Yeah, they really are.
Weirdly
I just
close.
love how
Yeah.
like every like European country was like, "I'm gonna go to America," and every single time they would go towards America, hit a current, and just fuck everyone in the Caribbean.
On the way over, of course.
Caribbean.
Of course.
Oh shit.
Jamaica, everywhere.
Can you
like,
imagine
every time you
leaving
go to these?
Europe and being exposed to that type of like those kind of women as opposed to like the just cold, it's pasty, like half good, it's a little different.
Wait,
You
it
look-
is tropical down there.
you went to
Everybody
the Museum of
naked.
sex, and you see those pictures and the.
Why you gotta do that, like-
no, because I went with you because it was like
I was with my girlfriend as well.
yeah.
It was me and my girlfriend.
He was.
DC
To
met me
clarify.
and her.
He was his
there.
girlfriend.
I was taking my
But-
girlfriend.
If you look at the images they draw of like the classical like ritzy like European like art, it's always like their body type is I don't find it very attractive. It looks, I guess it's artsy, but it's not. There's a reason why they sailed over here and impregnated women on the shore of the Caribbean or whatever, then went back to Europe.
All of a sudden, they meet a girl with ass and tits, and they're just
Right.
Like, mm.
It's like, oh, what's this? Like this. It's something new
It
for them.
jiggles.
Yeah. Like, what is this?
That's that Thomas Jefferson shit.
Yeah, man.
Thomas
It's-
Jefferson was like, "Yo, I fuck with it."
You could
Yeah,
could
he
front,
was,
but
fuck with it.
actually.
Yeah,
he
they
was.
could front 'cause
I
they
love
have
history. I'm sorry.
they can front because they have to, but they're down. They want it. You know?
I don't know. It jiggles. It kind of. I've had an experience where like someone's like, "Oh, you're very jiggly." Like,
I don't think you should say that. I don't think any girl likes to hear that.
No, I did
They
not.
don't. Yeah, no
it was
girl
like
likes
it was a
What you
Japanese
mean?
guy, and like he was
he's
like,
not used to none of that, bitch.
and like
He's not used to none of that.
Oh my
He's
god.
like I'm like not trying to be like he had like an accent. He's like, "This is very jiggly," and I was like,
No.
it's just like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, very jiggly.
Yeah.
Very jiggly.
It is weird. They touch you like a product they've never had before. It's just
Oh,
Just very jiggly. Just make me go shoom.
he's not used
like-
to all that.
yeah, it was.
My dick flew invisible.
Where'd they go?
My dick is invisible.
Oh god, I was trying not to make the accent to be racist, you guys.
Sure.
That's not racist if it's good.
That's
If it's a
not
good
racist.
accent. If it's
See,
good,
hold
it's
on.
not
We're
racist.
comedians. Back to being a comedian.
Yeah, right.
That's just the South Park. I don't know if anyone watches South Park. I know people in New York don't, but that's just the classic South Park of like when he answers the phone, he's just like, "Welcome to Shushi Park. How can I help you?"
Oh yeah, that sounded just like him.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was playing video games with my friend one day, and we were just like going back and forth, and he just goes, "Oh god damn it, they turned me invisible." And I was like, why do you hit the Asian accent all of a sudden? And I was like, you couldn't just say invisible? He's like, yeah, just invisible. I was like, invisible.
You guys remember that girl from Mad TV? What was her name? She had the ass like this. Oh, yeah, wow.
She was?
I think she
No,
was,
no,
but
I
like,
think she might have been white playing an Asian. Miss
no, I know what
what's
you're
her
talking
name?
about. She had
Yeah.
like the straight
Yeah,
bangs.
the bangs.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I forgot her-
Question: how is everyone on Marvel movies and the Avengers? Can we talk about that or no? No
we
interest?
can talk
You
about
guys could
it. I
probably
don't
talk
know
about
that
it.
I
I don't know.
have answers
Yeah,
for
we
you,
have
but I can
information
try.
about
So what are your feelings about these?
Damn it! No,
Marvel
it
movies?
just Endgame is coming out soon. That's like the last like trilogy of the Avengers. And like I was watching the last Avengers that's on Netflix, and it was just really good. There's a lot of moments in there that are like heartbreaking. It's a really good movie. Have you watched it?
Endgame? No, I
No.
seen the trailer.
Endgame's coming out. I'm talking about the last Avengers.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw when they all died. I thought it was a good movie.
Well, spoiler alert.
it.
They don't all
They
die.
all die.
Yeah.
So, okay, listen, I'm sorry. If you haven't seen the movie by now, then you don't care because the new one's about to come out. Long story short, Thanos, the villain, he's trying to find like 5 stones, and he finally gets all of them.
right?
And his whole theory is
That's that like big stone-looking motherfucker.
yes.
Okay. All
so
right,
the
all
whole
right.
his whole thing is he's not a villain. That if life doesn't go unchecked, it will go into extinct. His whole thing is his home planet. It was amazing, but there was too many people, and then they wouldn't listen to him because he wants to do mass genocide at random. So he was like, listen, if I just find all the stones, he's like, if I find all the stones and at a snap of my fingers, painlessly, half of the humanity will disappear and everyone will live happily ever after. So at the end of the movie, he finally gets all of them, throws a snap, and then you just watch like, because you know the whole thing with the Avengers is they finally bring every single character from all these single movies onto one picture. So it's awesome. It's like an amazing movie. And then all of a sudden they just die. And it's like, it's pretty fucked because like they cut the scenes of like characters and you're like, I love that dude, I'm okay with her. Then that one dies, you're like, fuck, why couldn't it have been that bitch? And then like Endgame's coming out. It's like April 12th or 20 something. I was wondering if you guys are hyped for it because I'm hyped for it because I watched the last one. Now every single day I just keep thinking, I'm like, I want to know what the fuck happened.
I'm kind of hyped to see the Us movie.
Because like
I want to see
Yeah,
it.
I want to see
wanna
us
see
also.
that.
But
look at
I'm
all the
also-
black.
I want. I want to.
Wait, none of us.
I'm done. The white no.
Wait, no, because I
Hollywood's
wanted to
been-
go back to that because I was talking to somebody about this today. Have you ever read The Stand by Stephen King?
No.
No, I can't read.
Oh,
Stephen
yeah, I
King.
was about to
Wait.
It's like the longest book I've ever read in life. It's
tell
like
me,
this thick. It's
tell
like
me
these-
the story because I
So
did the Family Guy
premise
version.
is that the government creates a super flu, and the super flu gets out, and it kills 80% of the worldwide population.
It was on
And the
purpose.
story is about the 20% that are left over.
I
That's a
don't
good
know
story.
this.
I like
It's
that.
so intense.
I'm with
But
that.
like one of the characters is like in New York City, and like 80% of the population dies in New York City. Can you imagine what the fuck that would smell like?
Yes. I can,
But you
yes.
could get anywhere without like a crowd, as long as the people that can run the subways are
You know what's
still
funny?
alive.
Ashley,
No, those people are all dead too. There's the subway system is done. All right.
You know what's funny?
Did they all die on the subway? Like shit, like
Yeah,
that
there's
one
people dead on the
fucking
subway.
anorexic bitch
The way
that
he
passes out and
describes
makes
this shit,
everybody late.
It's just like everybody's just dead everywhere. Like people just dying in their cars, or dying on elevators, or dying in the subway.
You know what's funny about the Avengers? Sorry to bring it back, but you know what's funny is I realized this, and I was watching last night. The thing with the Marvel movies, at the very end, they always show like a little extra thing,
Right.
and people stay for that shit. So Thanos' whole thing is snap, have people die, and the whole scene is people like in the jungle. So in the jungle, when people are dying, they're just standing there. Okay. And then at the very end of the movie, they cut back to like the city, and you start seeing people die, cars start crashing, helicopters keep falling, and in my head I'm like, okay, people are gonna die painfully from all these random like car crashes and all that shit. And then I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, he didn't think about that. And if he really was trying to be a good guy, he would have been like, okay, painfully, and I'm gonna make it to where like good things happen. Maybe like if you have the fucking power to snap half people, you have the 5 stones, you have all this. You didn't think about that.
I wouldn't
Like
do
there's
that.
a
If I had
one
the
scene, a
power to
helicopter
do that, I wouldn't
literally
do that.
hits a building and starts.
But
Imagine
wouldn't you assume that they were already dead before this shit happened, and that's
No.
why the crashes
That's
happened?
why, because
No.
they died while
But
the
that's what I'm saying
fucking-
is, so now listen to this. So picture all this shit's happening. Your boyfriend just vanished. You're like, okay, but I'm alive. That's a helicopter. Holy shit, your head gets chopped off. You survived the snapping.
Right,
But
but
because-
not the happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say.
but
That's
see-
not painless.
Listen, there was a whole chapter in the book, The
About
Stand,
shit like that.
about how there was like a certain percentage of the survivors that end up doing stupid shit, like going in the
And they
freezer and
die.
getting locked in.
What?
Yeah.
Going in a freezer?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
maybe try
this
to
one bitch
feed
wanted to go
herself
to it.
like
She
the-
went to
the
like a
rat.
restaurant and wanted to get like the shit out the restaurant because now
I
it's a
would
fucking
stay in
free
that
for all.
restaurant. I saw that in
It's a
Bird
fucking
Box.
free for all.
I would have stayed in the grocery store or a restaurant.
But what would you do if it's a free for all though? My ass would be at Macy's. I'd be looking fucking slick. As fuck.
well, if it's a free for all, that means nothing is really that valuable.
You want to know
like,
something funny?
resources.
When I was in
I'd
Florida,
still be Louis Vuitton up though.
when I was in Florida,
Gucci for days,
Bitch,
bitch.
it ain't valuable to
Not
you.
Gucci.
I
Yo.
still look good though.
I used to think about this shit when I lived in Florida because my premise was like my dad, because he like where he lives, like he just has like a pistol and like a little like a shotgun. So like
Okay,
not only my
Florida.
dad's not like anything like country, but it's just for
No,
safety.
that's just normal.
Florida.
And just Florida, exactly.
Hashtag
Just
Florida.
You never
Hashtag
know.
Florida.
Ain't taking my
And-
guns.
Right, you walk in my
I
house
used
and
to
the
think
pistol right
about.
there.
I used to
My
think about
dad
this
was a
shit all the
cop, so
time.
that he had shit ton of guns.
I used to think about this shit all the time, and my premise was, I was like, all right, I would just drive to my dad's, and we would just, huddle there. Then when I moved to New York, I had the same thought, and I had it recently, actually. It's funny you say that. And I was thinking about it. New York is, there is no surviving. If you, like...
We're just natural survivors.
No, it's so populated. If there was something like a disease, or sometimes even like zombies, something that was like, would tear down the structure, I
Could you imagine the chaos of Independence Day if that really happened?
what I'm saying
Like,
is
all
I've
of a
already accepted
sudden-
the death. I know that living here, I'm like, if that shit happens, I'm like, yo, zombies, do it.
Done.
Do it.
Yeah, you're done. Or like Independence
You're not
Day.
getting out of here.
We're like,
I
everybody's
disagree
freaking out and trying to
because,
leave the
like,
city.
You don't have to, and when you're in an area that this is this populated, you don't have to be the fastest. You just need to be faster than everyone around you.
Okay, so
or smarter
you know
than
what's
everyone
funny?
around
You know what's funny? I think about this. So there was a podcast that I was listening to on Joe Rogan where 2 comedians were talking about how they were actually at a comedy club. They were just in New York. I think it was during October when like I remember like one time there was like in
Then
New York,
when
garbage
the
cans.
converter exploded. We talked about this. There was a converter that exploded.
Oh,
Yes,
the sky
and,
went blue.
and the
little-
sky lit up and it was
Yeah.
blue.
No.
And it was crazy and everybody was freaking out talking about the
comedians,
aliens were landing.
So the comedians were talking about how they
You
came out
remember when
the
this
club
happened?
and they were and they were
Remember that.
Yo,
It was in
no.
the fall.
It was in the fall. It was
They came out
crazy.
and they saw people running and they started helping people and they just brought people into the club because they didn't obviously don't know what's going on. And that's what I'm trying to say is, God forbid, right now we're in this podcast studio, shit breaks down. What the fuck do you do? Like in Florida, you got
Our
space.
best bet would be to stay in the fucking podcast studio.
But
Yeah, I would
how
say-
long is what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. In New York,
Right.
you just stay where you are. How many people are gonna die because they're just sitting
Because
here?
they ran out and like tried
Like
to
my biggest thing is I don't got a car no more. The subway systems, you already said that shit's fucked.
Bike. You need a bike.
You're gonna go on the street.
You need fuck yeah. You need a
Bro,
bike.
you're dead.
Yeah, you go
Or
to
a
the street and
car
find a
or
bike.
something.
No, but I'm saying is you're
But-
just biking.
Well-
Someone, let me get that bike. How you gonna steal? Because you stole that bike. So and someone sees you with a backpack full of shit.
Yo,
guess
you need
what?
I think
guns
it's
and you
not-
need
Anybody.
transportation.
I think that
I'm
you're
saying,
like
and you
going to
don't
be
have
better
that.
than
No,
you
you
think,
steal
because
that.
like the whole city has like an underground tunnel system. Because like if you think back to the days of Prohibition, they had a tunnel system that went from Manhattan all the way up to Canada.
Mhm.
So like basically, like I just feel like you kind of are going to be like a mole person until you can get the fuck out of
But
here.
also, New Yorkers ain't got time for that shit, so we probably just handle it. The zombies.
Zombies?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know.
so.
I would just try to throw
We
them.
probably handle it.
But see, that is a whole. What type of zombies are we talking about? Are they World War Z zombies where they're like
I don't fuck with those
running
zombies. Those
extra
zombies
fast?
those zombies.
Listen, I lived in
Like,
LA for
how-
2 years, and
how
there are
instant-
zombies out
How
there.
instant do you become a zombie? Because that's a whole nother thing. What if like they bite you and you instantly become a zombie within 10
You
seconds?
gotta kill them then.
That means that
People get fucked.
everybody's these motherfuckers becoming zombies in 10 seconds.
Yo, there's some zombies, but tell me you haven't
no,
seen a
I'm
zombie
saying
on a
right here
train.
in this room. I'm saying just like this up in here.
I be seeing zombies on the train. I do.
Well,
Some of these people are zombies, man. Like, you ever seen a
well,
guy
that's
that...
not the zombies. You're in the Matrix at that point.
Yeah, but I mean, I be seeing
You ever had it happen? You be seeing the same people, like you seen somebody in the morning, and then at night are on your way home from work, and all of a sudden you see the same motherfucker.
I mean,
The fuck?
I just think that's the
really.
government that is sending people out to watch us because we're telling jokes that are anti-Trump. I mean,
It's so
God damn it.
yo on the Q train. If you ride it on a Friday night after we do our show at like 1:00 in the morning, there are people sleeping
yeah.
on the train
Yeah.
that look like bums, but your shoes are not dirty, bitch. You don't look dirty. There's
Oh, they're
nothing
drunk.
dirty about
No,
you.
like a
You
lot
have
of
an
them-
NYPD hat on. Like, why the fuck you had that
no,
on?
a lot of
And
them
you
are
sleeping.
undercovers because, like,
They're
my
undercover
dad,
cops.
my dad was in street crimes.
Why are you
when
mad
I
at
was
that,
little,
though?
Street crimes.
and so like my dad would pretend to be like a homeless person on the street to wait for someone to try to rob him, and then they would arrest him. Like yeah, so
That's
like
fucking awesome.
that's like a thing.
but
like,
that's
yeah.
I don't know how I feel about
That-
that.
that's what I'm
I
saying.
don't know how I feel
I
about
don't know how I
that.
feel
What?
about that.
Yeah.
yo.
I'm not
Actually,
into
I
that.
lived with
I'm
that.
not-
I don't. I'm
Yeah.
not saying how
No,
do
no,
you
no,
feel about
how-
it. I'm just saying
how
like
you-
I
that-
know.
that's exactly.
How are you not into that? How are you not into
I'm
that?
not into
I
that.
move to the next car when I see that happening,
No.
just because I feel.
I
I feel
understand
weird.
that. No. What are you saying you're not with? The
I'm
people
not-
sleeping or the people
No, the setup.
getting robbed?
The setup.
The setup.
The setup.
The setup.
And there's a
Doesn't
whole
make it-
setup.
Yeah, I don't...
Like
'cause-
there's a person that's
And then when my
that's-
dad thought
like
he
me
was being
enticing you
funny, he would like come home still dressed as a bum and like open the door and then like be like, bruh. And I would like, when I was little, I'd get like scared as shit. And I'm like, there's a homeless man breaking into our apartment. And my mom's like, that's your dad. I'm like, it's not my dad. And I'd lock myself in the bathroom. My mom would make him take his makeup off and be like, it's dad.
Makeup. They put makeup
Dude.
on him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have makeup
Yeah.
artists that
There
make
is
them
a
look
whole
homeless. There's like a
thing.
whole,
So
yeah.
what was the bait to get them to try to rob a home? What kind of person do you have? How down do you have to be to go rob a homeless
And you think it's
person?
fucked that they're getting set up because that's what I'm saying is the reason why he did that is because the NYPD goes, okay, we're having an issue with homeless people getting robbed. I don't think homeless people have a lot of like.
or people getting robbed in general because like.
But how
they
low are your
don't always-
standards?
They don't
No,
always
no.
look homeless though.
No, but-
Sometimes they look like construction workers.
Absolutely,
Or like
but this is what I'm saying is okay. Let's just paint it. Let's just paint like two 17-year-old kids. Like I'm not gonna try to put a color to them because everyone's gonna get. I'm just saying two regular 17-year-old kids. Let's say one black, one white, whatever. When you're young and you're dumb and like maybe you're going to New York, your family's not so whatever. You see a homeless guy and like they do have little cups of like whatever, and like it's an easy target. You know that dude going to the police, it's like that's a fucking joke. That's an easy target. If I robbed you, Rodney, like you're up and at 'em, like you're gonna be like, I remember them, like I'm pissed about this. You're gonna put up a fight. No homeless man's putting up a fight. Second of all, any homeless man going to the cop being like, I got robbed, they're gonna be like, what do you look like? He'll be like, I don't know. Like
But that's a sales.
you kind of maybe
Yeah.
you're making me kind of.
I don't
change
agree
my
with that.
opinion on it.
that's what I'm trying to say
Nah, my
is
thing is
so
the
let's
same.
Only because
let's say her dad is sleeping on 42nd Street. His job for 6 hours is to play that he's asleep. Some kid walks up and they know that. I'm sorry, it's the NYPD. I'm gonna give them credit. I think they know little areas that are hot spots.
I don't know. NYPD.
On the-
What?
and-
It's the fucking cops.
But on the same train,
Yeah, but you
like,
like cops,
on the
though.
same train a couple weeks ago, I was sitting
I have a detective
and I
there.
saw a guy. He came through.
21
And-
Jump Street.
He
That's
he came from one car to the next car.
Uh-huh.
Passed by me. Then this lady was sleeping and she had her purse with her right here.
Mhm.
He tried to grab her purse and she woke up and like had the purse like kind of like in the hook of her arm, so he couldn't like get away from it.
Right.
But she was still kind of like, wait, what the fuck?
Disoriented, yeah.
Disoriented because she was sleeping,
Right.
and he just kept going, and then got off at the next stop.
So now tell me something. That's disgusting.
Yes.
Now replace it. He pulls it. The person gets up. You're under arrest. Wouldn't you feel like you're scum? Like you play stupid games. You win dumb prizes.
No, that's a supply and demand move though. That's like a sales move. You're kind of creating a crime scenario to bust a potential criminal person. You know what I'm saying? Like
How are you
like Baycar? Have you ever seen that show Baycar?
It's like
No.
if
You've never seen
Baycar?
Baycar?
No.
Okay.
So, can I explain it? I love it. Can I
Okay,
explain
yeah,
it?
it's such a.
I'm sorry, I
yeah.
just love this shit. Okay, Baycar's a great fucking show. So it's literally like a cop show. They take a car and they put it in like
It's usually
they
like
put it
a
in the
nice
fucking
Escalade
ghetto.
or something.
They'll take like a Mercedes, like a blacked out Mercedes. And they'll put it in the fucking ghetto. Once again, like they know an area that's hot. That's what I'm trying to say. Is and this is an older show. They'll put it in like a hot area. They'll make it look super easy, like unlock the doors, maybe put like a computer and something in it.
And they'll have like
bait
maybe
it.
newer cops, and they'll like make us act like we're a couple, and we get into an argument, and then like,
And then you guys
you're
like leave.
Oh, like fuck you, da. You walk off, and I'm like, babe, but I left the keys in the car.
And then these kids will come in and literally, like on video cameras, they'll come in, they'll jump in the car, they'll turn on, they'll start driving. Then the undercovers start tracking them, and then eventually they shut down the car because it's controlled. And literally, the car just slows down to a stop. The doors are locked, and like there's literally this
And you
video,
can't
like,
get out
like
of
these
it.
kids are
It's
like kicking the windows, and they're reinforced. Like you're not
can't get
getting
out of it.
out.
It's like it's a
never in
sale.
history has ever gone out. And I understand his point of like, you know, you're putting out like you're putting $1 on the floor and then burning someone for being like picking it up. It's like, yo, it's a fucking $1 on the floor. Like, why would you put it down there? Like, it's like putting out a sandwich and being like, yo, why'd you eat it? It's like, yo, you just left it out. Like, whatever the fuck the little analogy is. What I'm trying to tell you is the homeless thing is different to me just because no one's out there trying to hold their backs.
right now, shouldn't that be a government state issue? Like we wouldn't have to do that, create those scenarios if the homeless or the without were better taken care of.
I don't know. Like for me, like none of this stuff is like a like state issue or a government issue. This is all childhood trauma for me. Like it's just kind of like, I remember my dad came, like I went to an all-girls school and like he never picked me up from school, and this one day he comes to school, he picks me up and he's just like, I need your, I'm like, why are you picking me up? You never pick me up. And he's just like, I need your help. I'm like, all right, like what do you need me to do? And he's just like, I'm going undercover this weekend, and it's in a gay bar. I need you to fag me up. Like, it's just kind of like,
What?
yeah, exactly.
That is bizarre.
So it's just like for me, all of this shit is just like, like I can't even put myself in the.
What was that
they're-
like though? Was that like a constant, like growing up, like as a child, like it was like a weird situation with your dad being a cop in his particular type of work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It always was. Yeah.
So
Wow.
now that we've like talked about it a little bit, I want to know everyone's opinion on it. The homeless, the same scenario. Are you for that? Like with what your dad did? Like, were you ever at one point, even now looking back at it, were you kind of like, all right, like maybe he was in the right, or that's still
I don't
kind of
think it
fucked to
mattered.
you?
I don't think that mattered to her.
Yeah. To be honest with you, like legit, all this stuff is just childhood trauma.
That's what I think this close to
But
her.
like, I'll say that I don't think that percentage-wise, there's any difference between having a cop pretending to be homeless or having a uniformed officer like
pretend to
walking
be a
the
civilian. Yeah.
like, but not even pretending to be civilian. If you had cops on the beat, like walking down the street,
Mhm.
I feel like that is as effective as arresting a person trying to rob a homeless person as if that homeless person was pretending to be homeless. Like, I don't think that was actually making the city any safer. If anything, I think if
Right.
you just saw like uniformed cops like walking down the street, that probably less people in general
Right.
would be getting robbed than having like one
Little setups.
undercover cop like waiting to get
Because they do it
robbed.
for people who jump the turnstile. I've
Yeah.
jumped the turnstile, and then they come out of nowhere. They're in civilian clothing. Hey, it's a Metro PD or whatever it is. And
Yeah.
I got a ticket for
Right, and you're
being
just
homeless.
So I do
so
it
you
so
guys
much,
are
I'm
playing
so
dress
scared.
up and sitting on the
Don't-
train,
yeah, don't-
pretending
I
to be
don't-
passengers just to arrest people for stealing seats.
And honestly, if
But
you saw a uniformed
that's-
cop there, you wouldn't have done it.
Right,
Like,
Exactly.
exactly, most likely.
But
And-
that's
but like
my
they
whole thing
wouldn't
is-
have like. But the whole
they
thing
wanna
though
charge
is
you,
that.
though.
that's where it's the money making
Exactly.
scheme. It's really like a pyramid scheme to
Right.
try to like
all
make money for the
because
city.
half the time they're not going to arrest you; they're just going to give you a ticket.
Exactly.
The
Right.
ticket's going to turn into
But they're gonna,
Profit.
they're gonna run a
profit.
background
It's going to
check.
turn into money for.
Right.
But they don't want to charge Amazon tax money so that they can go nickel and dime the regular people
Boom.
that, you know.
Boom.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. But as far as like that other shit, like that was just legit like childhood trauma, like all the time.
Damn.
I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, because that's
They have some, it's always interesting. I was watching this TV show today, and she was talking about how she was married to a cop, and they were just like, yeah, all cops like I don't know, it's like a weird situation. Either they're like angry, they're like drunks, or like they beat their wives or something like that.
I wish my dad was a drunk. That would explain why he was such an asshole. But he wasn't. He was like sober and an asshole.
Right.
Like,
That's even
that's
worse.
the
Yeah.
worst.
It's a
Yeah.
stressful job, kid. But I mean, can you imagine? You think like you grow up with all this stuff in your head. Men, women love a man in uniform, and I want to be a cop. I'm gonna.
I don't think
But the uniform.
cop is a good partner at all.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, when women say that, they're talking about like the CEO uniform. They're not talking about like cop uniform. They're not talking about
So I'll just
40,000
like
a year uniform.
I will like say this for example. Like I went to an all girls school from 6th grade to 12th grade.
Hot.
The entire time I got one like demerit. Like this is how like fucking trained I was, is like not to do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
My dad would drug test my locker every month.
Fuck.
Like now I'm
Yeah.
talking like I'm on honor roll. I fucking help homeless youth. Like I am like pretty much like a kid social. Like
It's
I
just
was
too
in like
much.
all this like
You're a-
fucking.
you're a
It's
kid
just
like-
too much.
activist
but
back
just too
just-
much.
But like
before it was cool.
right, exactly. Like I literally campaigned for like the Clinton Gore in '96. Like I was like the fucking pinnacle of not doing wrong shit. My dad would come into my school every month, take a swab, and like swab my locker to make sure I wasn't doing drugs. Like I hadn't even
Fucking
had a
so
fucking.
extra.
I didn't have a drink until like my senior year. But like he was just like, well, like you know what I
I'd
mean.
fucking hate that.
I'd probably be like that if I was a dad.
But
How did you turn out to be? I mean, because I don't know. My dad's a pastor, so
I mean, but I feel like it's kind of like similar,
Why-
except
Every
Like
gay
you-
black guy's dad's a pastor.
that's not true.
but
A
is
lot.
it?
Yeah, it's just true.
It's like it's 75%. Let's be real. It's like 75%.
Hey.
But no, it's all right. I think you're the one that found the real way. Like once again, it's the famous joke, and I'm not. This is just a joke that goes around. It's like no one can make fun of like the Catholic Church touching boys, but the Catholic Church is touching boys. Like that's a real fact.
I want to
Right.
go back to the uniforms though. Like,
I will never date a cop.
That's what I'm saying.
I have
Yeah.
gotten head by cops in uniform.
and they're stressed out.
Yo,
Cops are
I fucked a
stressed
detective that
out.
was on break
I'm pretty sure.
one
he-
time. Yeah,
Gay or straight?
I mean,
You don't
he
know.
was gay at that point.
No.
'cause he had a dick
He was
in his
married. He was just married.
Yeah.
butt. Right? Yeah.
No, because that's a real. It's honestly a real thing. Like that's
Does marriage turn dudes gay, man? What's up with that? A lot of gay, and married dudes love strip clubs. So I hate the strip club. And
Because
married
like I
dudes
feel like
love
married
strip clubs.
dudes are blowjob opportunists. They don't.
Yeah, they
care.
are.
Right. Yeah,
Like-
that's what it is. It's like you took the words out of my mouth because like, I feel like
Yes, they are.
the why is not blow. You're not blowing your husband.
And
enough.
think about
You
it.
need to blow him every day, bitch.
As a cop,
Like-
you're always busting like prostitution and like trainees possibly in certain areas. That
You
see them get
can't
arrested.
say the T word.
Trainees. No.
Yeah, you can't
Yeah,
say
that
the-
is a very-
Yeah, you can't say that.
you know what's funny? Andrew Schultz had a great.
Yeah, it's like
No,
grandmother, granny.
Yeah, Andrew Schultz had a great joke. He was like, anything with the Y at the end, it's just endearment. Like you take a grandmother, she's your granny.
Yeah.
You have a someone that takes care of you. That's your nanny.
It's your nanny.
For my audience base, I must say that you can't say the T word.
Okay,
But-
What
No.
would I say?
It's transphobic.
Yeah, no,
That's
you,
a
a
solid-
I'm not
trans.
transphobic.
You could
though.
say
Wait.
transgendered. A trans person.
A trans person. So if they pick up a trans person, I think a lot of times they dabble. I don't know, for whatever reason, just because they're out patrolling the streets at night. Certain people that they're encountering, they're like, hey, I'm on the shift. It's overnight. I won't arrest you. Maybe if you blow me in the back of this cop car, I just seen that. I watch a lot of TV.
I'm just saying.
I watch a lot of TV.
But that's
No, I
that-
think
that
that's
even
a lot
that's
of
real
things.
life.
Yeah, that's
real
a lot
life.
of-
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's. I
It's
mean,
like literally real life.
as
Yeah.
much as you're patrolling the evils of the night, you're definitely tempted to, I don't know,
You're just
try
fucking
something.
bored.
In a lot of
You're bored.
situations, the difference between like cops and gangsters is a uniform. Like,
Right,
to be
exactly.
honest, it's like they all kind of live in this like shady underworld of
See,
society.
I think
It's like-
every time a cop sees money, he should take it. Every time. Every time. No, you guys
Wait,
are questioning my morals. I understand. But you got to think about it. How stressed would you be if your job was to protect the United States, citizens of the United States? You know, people hate you. People want to kill you. Your life is on the line 24/7. You get paid $43,000 a year.
but that's without overtime.
And then but why should a cop have to work 80 hours a week to provide for his family and work for people
because
who
they
mostly
should have
don't care
gotten
for
better
him?
grades.
That's
Right.
what
But hey, you say that.
Thank you.
You say
That's
that.
the
hit
one
on
thing
so
that
many
is
different
number one
levels.
in America
Bullshit.
is people not putting in an effort, and then they're like,
you don't-
and then we feel sorry that like their jobs are shitty. Like what? Like what? Like
But like
You-
honestly,
I
like
disagree with
that's
that.
like a rookie salary when they're starting, but like when they're in 10, 15,
Because if you
20
really, if you
years,
really want to,
they could be pulling in
150
150 grand a
something,
year.
you can.
And why should you be pulling in 150 grand a year because
'Cause I
you
might get
fucking
shot.
like it's like, oh, so like I feel like there's two personalities that become cops.
Mhm.
They're the bullies and the kids that were bullied.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
that is just it.
facts.
And both of them were too dumb to become FBI.
Yes.
So it's just kind of like I don't know. And then I like Grant, I have a lot of family that's in law enforcement and they hate every time that I say any of this, and you know something, my tax money pays for the right for me to say it. But
Mhm.
it's just a weird kind of thing, and I go into this all the time, but I think that we need, as a society, if we want to improve our justice system, if we want to improve our police force, I think that we need to raise the bar on the education levels that allows you to become a police officer.
Agreed.
Although that it's become a little bit better, like they have to at least have an associate's degree now, but like before they just literally had to like
It was
high,
G-
G-
school.
high
GED.
school.
Yeah,
High
GED.
school.
Yeah, high school. Not
Yeah.
even, right, GED.
But
you graduate high school.
the next
And
level,
even then, there's still turnarounds because when, like, I'm just saying from like Florida people that I know, a lot of people just go like, you know what ROTC is?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
every kid that I knew was just like an ROTC kid. ROTC kids then go to the army.
Right.
When they come back from the army, they go, "What do I do?" And they're a little
Become a
fucked up,
cop.
and they've always been a little fucked up. As you said, they're either the bullies or the ones that get bullied.
Right.
Most of the time, ROTC is the ones that get
Like the
bullied.
military should
And
get paid
then
more,
they come
too.
back, and then like they go, "Okay, we'll pay for you to do things." They go, "We'll pay for you to become a cop."
Right.
And now they're like 28, going on their 30s, and they've only ever been doing this like this life of just.
That's my next level though, is that I don't believe that any veteran that has seen any action or combat should be in the police department in a capacity that they interact with the public.
Absolutely.
I think that if they do, they should be on like a training level or a desk level, because here's the problem is that they've been trained to see the world in two perspectives, our side or the enemy. And when you become a cop, all the cops are our side and all the public is the enemy. And you can't untrain someone out of that mentality.
Yeah.
And so like what ends up happening is that they see somebody walking down an alley, they have their hands in their pocket, and it's just like
That's the enemy.
that's the enemy.
That's
not
honestly such a great. I've never thought of it that way. That is a great point. I do want to reiterate what you said, just because I did love that. The fact that these people go out to the army, they only train to, you guys are my bros. That's the enemy. We have to kill them. They come back. They become cops. Who's on the other side of the law? Civilians.
everybody else.
Exactly. So
You
it's
know?
it's and that's one thing that I was even talking to my girlfriend about. This is I hate that, and I say humans because you have to look at yourself sometimes. Humans never want to talk about the fact that things happen and you do things without yourself even realizing them, like the subconscious and like things that you've been ingrained. Like your dad being a cop will always have some type of effect on you. Maybe like, you're a little, when you do your shows and you're producing, you're a little more tighter knit, whatever, how it fucking gets you. And that's what it is if you ask, and that's one thing about,
I run a tight ship. I can admit. I can totally admit
but that's
that.
the one thing is when these people come back from training, maybe they'll ask them like, how do you feel? They don't know how the fuck they feel. Like, I don't know about you, but have you ever like got into an argument? You're like, I don't know why I'm upset. Like, I don't know why right now this is pissing me off. Like, this shouldn't piss me off so much.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing I think with them is, like you said, is they come back and it's just like, oh yeah, you know the skill set. Go into it. No one ever looks at their mind, and like they're too scared to be like, okay, we're not gonna make you a cop because we're scared. So they're gonna be like, no, we're gonna make you a cop, but we're not sure. Oh fuck, you shot someone. All right, my bad. We fucked up. Yeah. And then it's like how we said, the FBI always does the research. They know they're negligent, and then when that one person does shoot someone else by accident, we fucked up. We bad. We did know. We should have made a mistake. There's still people in the system that are fucked up, but they haven't done anything big enough that anyone knows.
Right.
So they stay in the system. They stay the course.
But it's kind of like bad priests. It's kind of like you have priests that go around molesting kids and they just bounce them from like parish to parish.
They just move them.
You've got the same situation with bad cops that they just bounce them from precinct to precinct.
Yes.
Like, like desk job to desk job, or like they'll go to like a smaller town or something, and they're not really assessing like the real problem. And the real problem is like, and I say this, and I've gotten hate mail for this from my other podcast or whatever.
No way.
But it's like, something? A very high percentage, more than 50% of police have PTSD.
Absolutely.
And if you look at PTSD, it has so many different forms, and it pops up at different times. And I'm not saying that like you can blame them for having a disease, but what I am saying is that you can blame the city, the state, the federal government for not acknowledging that these people have a very volatile disease that will cause them to do things that are very spontaneous.
Absolutely.
Like, it's like,
and like you said with the enemy thing, like, is you're in a line where you don't want to die. Now you say that's the enemy idea. So if you're in a car and don't remember there's scary videos I've seen online, and you want to talk about PTSD, like I have a level of PTSD just from seeing fucked up videos. Like I was telling him the other day, I literally at one time in Florida got so mad at my friend because he showed me a fucked up video of a guy getting shot, and it was no blur, no nothing. I was like, yo, I don't want to see that. I get it. I get it. Like I'm a funny guy. I'll tell some fucked up jokes, but like there's a level. I'm like, yo, what
of certain stuff that you can't.
What fucking human needs to see that? What
you
human needs to see
it.
that? And now you're working a job where you go up to a scene and you see a girl that maybe looks like your fucking sister, and you don't ever talk about these things. Right. And now the government doesn't want to pay for therapy. Okay, whatever the fuck it is. You don't want to talk about these things. That's fucked up. That's fucking crazy. So now it gets back to the fact of just like how you were saying with it's the enemy aspect. It's always like, so when you see someone, you go to a car, they move a white whatever way. If you're in fucking Pakistan and someone does that and you shoot them, I'll be honest, it's probably no consequences.
Right.
And they're probably ingrained in that.
Right.
You're telling me that someone that never speaks your language, they have no tie to America. You shot them. Well, I thought it was this. I made a mistake. You made a mistake on someone's life.
Right.
And now and like, I'm sorry, if you become a comedian and you get booed, guess what? That's part of the fucking game. I'm not saying you died after, because that's a link.
Even though you feel like it afterwards.
Exactly. But you took on that job. And that's the one thing I was trying to say before is, if you choose a thing, you better be ready for the consequences. Just like acting, bro. If you were to complain to me every single day how much like acting, all these things, and we've talked about these things, and I know you feel what I'm feeling. We talk about these things, but at the end of the day, we wouldn't trade it for anything. And I know that you know that. I know that I know that. But that's what I'm trying to say is, with the cops, I don't feel bad for them, because it's like, guess what? You can do something else. I don't care if you're 34. I know it's hard to reset your life, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't
say it's 34
because somebody has to be a cop.
I was thinking in the army. I'll say why I say 34. I was thinking like 6 years in the army and then 5 years of like a police, and then you start realizing I can't fucking do this. This is killing me. then guess what? The government needs to start putting you work a fucking desk job, like you were saying. There's jobs in the NYPD you don't need to see dick.
Right, but like these guys have like invaluable skills at like kind of when you're saying like, okay, when these guys are in combat and they see somebody that's acting weird at a checkpoint, and maybe they know there's certain tells when someone's got an IED in their car.
Yes, that's crazy.
They should train other people when you see someone that is doing X, Y, and Z, the probability of them having something in their car is this. However, I don't think that you need to put that individual in a situation where they are dealing with people in cars because, like, you know something? Maybe somebody's got Tourette's and they just are winky and blinky because they've got Tourette's. It doesn't mean that they actually have explosive in their car.
Right.
But
some people just get nervous around cops in general.
Some people just
Thank you for saying that because from being in Florida, I've gotten into at least like 5 running with the cops, and that's just being pulled over. And like one, I was driving behind a place when I didn't know there's a police station, and the guy pulled me over because he thought I stole my car. And it was so sketchy because I was high as fuck, and he brought me and my friend out the car, and it was so scary. And I literally told him the first thing I said, I go, bro, I have bad anxiety, and especially around cops. And he was so nice. He's like, yo, there's no reason to have anxiety. I was like, okay, I just want you to know, like, if I'm acting weird, it's because this shit literally stresses me the fuck out, and like I don't like this at all. And my friend was like, yo, he like really doesn't like this shit. And I was like, dude, like I don't. And there's been times where that's the first thing I say to a cop is, dude, I have anxiety and I can't do cops because I start becoming like, I start thinking the worst, bro. I overthink. And when you're overthinking, that's a fucking killer.
Just like, especially when they walk back, they come up to your car and then they walk back to their car, to the cop car. You just think I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail.
And I didn't even do anything.
Oh God, I'm going to jail. Ooh. Let me try to test my mama.
I don't know. Like
but I act extra gay. That's how I've gotten on a lot of tickets. That's how I get
ever worked?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Yo,
definitely.
Can I tell you my go-to?
And like, oh my God.
You know what I go to? I act as young as possible. I one time got pulled over. I was leaving my shift, and I was contemplating in my head, do I go to a Wendy's or just go home? And I was like, am I hungry? But it's late. I'm hungry, but I'm tired. But I'm hungry, but I'm tired. The last second, I said, fuck it. Got into the left lane, and I realized now it was night, and I'm just driving kind of sketchy because I couldn't make it up in my mind. And I was like, do I make a right or do I make a U-turn? Do I make a right or do I make a U-turn? And I fucking moved, made a U-turn. There's a car behind me. It's fucking Florida. I said, fuck it. There's a red light. No one around me at 12 o'clock. I'm busting this U-turn. Bro, the second my car is like here, boo, like pulls me over. I swear to God, like I turned into a fucking 16-year-old. I was working security, and I'll tell you one thing right now was someone told me that I worked with was like, yo, when you're wearing your uniform, you get pulled over, they treat you different. And I was like, I get that. And I was like, and that's weird. And I wasn't wearing like a uniform, but I'm a security guard. So I had like a little vest or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I went so kid with it. I was like, I just didn't know if I wanted to go get food because I'm not trying to spend the money because I've been working a lot, bro. I just did overtime, all this stuff. And he like, and I told him about the anxiety. He came back and he was nice. And I've only had like
Dude,
2
you're
cops.
white. He wasn't gonna arrest you anyway, bro.
Nah, bro. I'll be real.
Yo, right.
Bro, I almost got my car towed, and this is a good story. This is the one time that like this is my sketchiest night of my life. Went to a high school party. This is the sketchiest night of my life. Went to a high school party, had a great fucking time, had a couple of drinks. I don't get that fucking crazy. I'm more into a weed. What do you mean?
It was a high school party. You having drinks?
Yeah.
He just said, so I was drinking in high school, but I don't get too crazy.
I was saying I'm more into like weed. So I'll like I've only drank but like I work at a bar though. I've grown up. I'm 21. I was fucking 16, 17, 18 at the time. I was 17 at the time. Okay, so back to the story. I had a couple of drinks, smoking in the middle of the night. My 2 best friends are destroyed. At one point in the night, my friend was fucked up. We're all playing beer pong. We hear a splash. He's in the pool. Fucked up. I have a big Ford Explorer. I'm leaving the party. A couple that I know are like, yo, can you please drop us off home? Like, we're right on the corner. Like, our ride ditched us. And it was him and his girlfriend. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be scum. And then the whole night, bro, one of my friends, so I had 2 best friends. One dipped in his own car, and I was with my other best friend that fell in the pool. And there was another kid that was just like this random, I'm not trying to be mean, but he was just like a random black kid I'd never seen in my life. And he had dreads. And he was just like, I've never met him once. Never once. Nah, I'm good. And never met him once. But he was with my other friend because they played basketball together. Mm-hmm. And he goes, yo, I'm sleeping at Greg's house. Greg lives like in my neighborhood. He goes, I'm sleeping at Greg's. He left. I'm sleeping at Greg's. He left. And I'm like, all right, bro, I'll drop you off at Greg's. Jump in the car. We're driving home. And drop them off. Went out my way. So now I'm waiting for the street. It's it's like a two-way street, and there's like a little right turn for the left lane for to go this way. So I made an illegal. So like instead of making a right, I went into the illegal mid lane and make a left onto my road instead of having to go make a U-turn. As I'm doing this, I'm driving. There's someone behind us, and this black kid, I've never met him in my life. He just keeps going, bro, slow down. You're gonna get pulled over. Bro, slow down. You're gonna get pulled over. And like my friend's drunk as fuck, no shirt on. He was only screaming at me, fucking make the left, and I did it. I get pulled over. I'm sitting there. I got a ticket at a party a couple weeks earlier. I never saw the ticket. My license is expired because I never paid the ticket now. Oh, now we're fucked. Now there's some youngins in a car, fucked up on some alcohol, definitely weed in the car, and I ain't got no license, and I want to go home. It's 2 a.m. Now I'm fucked. I'm like, who am I going to call? What am I going to do when I go to fucking jail?
If you tell me you got out the situation, you're going to go to
Let
jail.
me tell you how I got out this bitch. This is some crazy shit.
Right.
No. Listen. So I get pulled over. Cop goes, license is expired. And I'm like, what? And he starts telling me, he goes, one of two things is going to happen. He goes, one thing that's going to happen is we're going to impound the car. The only way the car doesn't get impounded is if anyone in this car can drive. And I know right now, he shines a light to my friend in the passenger seat. And he goes, and I know right for a fact, he's not driving. He's fucked up. He's no shirt, just going, yeah. Like, literally, that's how he responded to that answer was, yeah. Hey, my friend. I go, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And the black kid, once again, says nothing to me, never met the kid in life. He goes, I got a license. And the cop goes, do you have it on you? He goes, nah. He goes, well, you have a license. What's your name? Writes down all the kid's information, goes to the cop car. Like how you said, the anxiety, bro, 15, 20 minutes. And there's like 2 cop cars now. Like a cop car was added. They come back and they go, he's right. He has a license. So what's going to happen is he can drive your car. They gave me 3 tickets on top of my other ticket. And this dude, wait, this story doesn't end. I drove back to my neighbor. This kid drove my car back to my hood. I go to my friend Greg. I go, yo, your homie's here. He goes, I told him he can't sleep in my crib. I go, dude, get your homie. He goes, I told him I can't sleep in my crib. I'm like, yo, this dude's not sleeping at my house. Like, my mom doesn't doesn't know this kid. So now what do? I go, where do you live? He goes, man, I live all the way in Boyan. And that's, if you know anyone in Boca, that's like 5 stops. I don't know if you've ever been to Florida, but that's like 5 stops on the highway.
Which is like a far distance.
Which is like a 20-minute ride there and back.
Right, it's like 40 minutes.
I just got 3 tickets on top of another ticket. That's 4 tickets total. I got my license expired. And now I'm just sitting in my house. It's 4 a.m. and I have this random kid I've never met in my life. What do? Jump in the car and drive him home. I'm doing 85 on the highway. He's going, bro, you better be careful. I said, bro, you better shut the fuck up because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing this. I was pissed,
they can't give you another ticket if they pulled you over.
No.
Yeah, they can.
No.
They can.
If they pull me over, you know what's happening? Your boy is going to jail because they'll look at the ticket.
But
they go,
you were, here's the whole thing though. If you were black, you would have been in jail. None of that would have happened.
I will say that as a black person experiencing blue privilege, so like
blue privilege.
So now
That must be good. I like that.
I'll give you an example. So now I am 16. I have a junior license, and I'm like, I was in a club in Manhattan. I'm not going to say how I got in said club, but I went with my friend, and it could have been the Limelight. And so like I'm with my friend and her older sister, and so we got there. But at this, like, I can't drink because like if I go home smelling like alcohol, drunk, like my life is over. So like I was like straight edge back then, but I used to club more for the clothes and the atmosphere, but not for the booze. So now we're coming home. Everybody is fucking wrecked. I'm the youngest person. I've got a junior license, but all the people that drove us are drunk. My friend is drunk. Her sister took their parents' car to drive us. And so now they're just like, well, you're the only sober one, you had to drive. I'm like, all right. So I get in the car and there are 6 of us in a 2-door Mustang.
No.
And people sitting on top of each
Yeah,
other's
I know that.
laps.
I know that move.
I had a visual right there.
So,
I know. You know the move. That's like a classic
yeah.
one night every like 7 years type shit.
Oh, yeah.
right. And so now we're driving down Christopher Street, and there's like some like S&M leather shop that's like on the side of the street.
So you're in Soho.
And so like I'm
Dead.
stopped at a red light, and all the girls like, oh my God, look at that. They're assless chaps and they're hanging out of the fucking Mustang. And so now there is a cop standing at the corner that sees them hanging out of the car.
He just wants some pussy.
And he pulls me over. And
From
so
he's standing and pulls you over
yeah,
from
he's
the corner?
standing. He's pulling me over from the sidewalk because he's like, "You over."
You're just driving away. You're like,
no, I didn't.
Wait, he was on
like,
foot?
He was on foot, and he
Why did
pulled
you-
me over because, like, I know,
you're not gonna
like,
drive away. That's
I'm
fucked.
not
That's
going to
actually
drive
running from the
away,
law.
and I'm like
Yeah,
That's
16,
actually running from the law.
and so like I pull over, and then he like comes over to me, and I have my PBA card over my license because that's how you roll when you got a PBA card because you need them to see it before you pull your license out.
What's a
So-
PBA?
Police Benevolent Association.
Thank you.
And so now he's like, "Oh, I need your license and registration." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, sir. I have a license. I'm not sure about the registration or the insurance. This is not my car." He's like, "Why is this not your car?" And I'm like, "It's their car and they are passed out." And
Damn.
so then he's just like, "All right, let me see." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah." So like then I'm just like, "Oh, I'm sorry. My license is under my PBA card." And so like I like literally and I'm like, "Oh, I think it's under here." So like he's looking at it and so then he's just like PBA and I'm like, "Oh yeah, you know, my dad is you know, Sergeant Smith." And then he's just
I
like
see what you're saying. Blue privilege. I got what
right.
you're saying
And
now.
so then he's just kind of like, "Oh yeah, is he?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So then, like, he looks at it. He's like, "Yonkers, you from Yonkers?" I'm like, "Yeah." So then he goes over to his partner, and so then he was just like, "Oh, she says that she's, you know, Sergeant Smith's daughter," and then, like, his partner comes over to me. He's like, "You Smitty Jr.?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, yeah." He's like, "I haven't seen you since you were 5 years old," and I was just like,
What?
and I was just like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Your dad's a real fucking asshole," and I'm just like,
That's some only movie shit. That's dope, though.
and I'm like, "Yeah, he is." And then he's just like, "Listen, I'm not fucking with your dad. I'm gonna be on fucking foot patrol for the next 20 years. Listen,
What?
you're gonna tell all these girls get the fuck out of the car. We're gonna be over here. You're gonna drive around the corner. You leave one of them in there that's at least 21. You got one of these that's 21. I'm like, yes, I do, sir. You leave the 21-year-old in the car because you need to have somebody that's an adult in the car with you. Tell the rest of these chicks, get the fuck out of the car. They meet you at the corner. We're going to stay over here. Then you tell these bitches to stay inside the fucking car." And I was just like, "Yes, sir." And so then I was like, "Guys, you got to get out of the car."
Did he say it like that?
He said exactly like that.
yes.
He said
Wow.
it exactly
Yeah.
the fuck like that.
Oh,
Go.
wow.
And then I was just like, "Okay, sir." And then he was just like, "All right, can you get all the way back home?" And I'm like, "I don't exactly know where the West Side Highway says once I turn around this corner." And he's just like, "You're just going to you're going to slowly go back the way you came from, but you're going to give us enough time to get off this street so we don't pull you over again." I'm like, "Yes, I will, sir." So I was just like, "Guys, you got to get out of the car. You got to get out of the car, leave her in the car. You go walk around the other side of the street.
some
I'm going
gang
to pick you
shit,
back
though.
up."
Some gangster.
Some gang shit.
But like this is like I've been pulled over in semi quasi like I've never been like I've been like in the wrong where I'm too young to drive, but I'm also the only sober one. So it's just like and I tell
see what
them
happened.
I'm just like, "Listen, yeah, I've got a junior license, but do you want the sober young kid driving or do you want the of age drunk kid driving?" Like I had a devil's choice right here.
Right.
You know, like what do you want me to do?
You so privileged.
Like it's so like you know what I mean? But like this is like most kinds of situations and like so I still can kind of because like I know the things to say that they're just kind of like and I've been pulled over. I've been
Sounds like your dad has a name, though. That
My
rings
dad-
bells.
yeah,
and
my
puts
dad-
Fear, a little bit of fear in some
Right.
people.
Bro.
yeah
He
my
said he
dad
had to do
is-
The asshole
patrol.
fighting up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
No.
don't. I don't.
I was detained once for 6 hours and then had the guy detaining me apologize to me because I was just
No.
kind of like
Your
yeah
You know
dad
what-
works for the mob.
You know what? You know what's funny is I don't want to play like daddy stories.
Oh, he's a cop.
But my dad when I lived in Boca Raton, Boca Raton is like a lot of money, but it's a really small community if you
Right.
know Boca. And my dad had like his company. And I remember one time when I was in high school and I was getting a job, and the guy goes, "Negri." He goes, "Your father Sam?"
Sounded like he said nigri.
His name is very like.
His last name trips me up.
I can't say my own name now,
Yeah.
people. I'm getting slammed for my own name.
I love it though.
Just
It's
make
like-
sure it's a hard
It
eye.
actually
Hard
means
eye.
black though. That's the
Hard
funny
eye.
thing.
yeah.
His last name actually means black though. That's the funny thing.
No, it literally means
yeah, it
black.
means black. It's Italian Jewish shit. Like it means like.
No, but I think it's because my grandfather is from Egypt.
Yeah,
So I don't know. Okay, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Fuck. What am I story?
That's
You were
what I know.
Sam. Is your
about.
father
Oh,
Sam?
yeah.
Company.
So he goes. Is your father Sam?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. He goes, motherfucker. And I was like, I don't know if you better kick me out, kick my ass, or like what's going on here. And like that's what I was saying. Like it's such a weird feeling when like it's also the same thing as like I had older siblings. I'm the youngest, so I went to like similar schools.
Right.
So every once in a while, it's like, Negri, is your brother Corey? I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, okay. I'm like, are we about to be homies, or are you gonna fucking shoot me?
right.
And like, it's a weird. As I was saying, it was like a weird feeling, and it's like almost like some shit where it's like, it's like almost hush. It's like, what happened with you two?
Right.
They so
like,
privileged.
That's
Yeah.
They so privileged.
That's not being privileged.
no.
That's just having a dad, DC.
No, that's
No,
called,
but like,
I guess I can't
no,
relate.
but like,
You
I
can't
can
relate.
definitely, I can definitely say that I had like, I grew up with blue privilege, so like, it's just like, yes, I'm black, but I'm black with blue privilege, so like, I feel like,
Ronnie grew up with blue balls.
yeah,
Sorry.
it happens,
Not-
but
Sorry, had to.
I mean, not for Rodney, but
Yeah, sure. You're busting
But,
more
like-
nuts than anyone I know. This dude's like a
Word.
fucking squirrel in the wintertime.
But we really should take a break, you guys.
Oh, it's a
We
break?
should take a break. Yeah, we should take a break
I
before
don't
we
like
get to-
breaks.
I know, but we have to. Quickly, where can people follow you on social media? Dylan.
Guys, at Dylan J Negri on social media. Also at Hot Judic. That's also my new Instagram. Make sure to go at Hot Judic, and I'll be doing
I gotta follow you
Broadway at every Friday at 8.
You can
DC.
follow me at only DC Williams on Instagram. That's 0NLY DC Williams.
Okay, you guys, we will be right back.
Right
This is Big
back.
Talk and Brewskis.
Let's pay these bills.
Yeah, big talking brewskis. Marissa Smith is who you see. Water cooler combo in here. Crack a cold one, we're on the air. Big talking brewskis. Marissa Smith is who you see. Water cooler combo in here. Crack a cold one, we're on the air. Kicking back, having a few beers, we're chatting. Pull up your chair, we're all relaxing. Any subject, we never dismiss. Big talking brewskis with Marissa Smith. Comedy, sex, relationships, war. Any subject, we got it in store. Big talking brewskis is coming in live. Crack one open, Marissa has arrived. Big talking brewskis with Marissa Smith.
Hey, guys.
Right.
Special Sunday edition of Big Talk and Brewskis. I
Special
am
Sunday.
still Marissa Smith.
Hey.
I have, as always, Rodden Daniels with me.
What up, guys?
I
Happy
got-
Special Sunday.
I got Smokey Dylan Negri with me.
What up,
Hot
boys?
Judic.
And
That's me.
I
Oh,
got
hi.
DC Williams.
What's up, guys? What's up?
Like, that is literally the thing I tell you every single time you come here. Don't
And I break
do,
the rule
and
every
you
single
bre-
time.
Every fucking time.
No smoking weed in the studio?
No.
Yeah,
It's,
he gets-
so,
There's no
fucking
smoking
forget.
in the studio. Even though it's a
It's-
vape, I understand you're a millennial and you're like, it's not real
Vaping
smoke.
douchebags,
No,
man.
like,
I can't
no,
stand
you
them.
know,
You see him at the
and I tell you
Oscars?
every time.
you can join the hot box, Marissa.
You see him at the
I-
Oscars, man? You see
I'm
him-
not about the hot box. I'm
Small.
about it's big talking brewskis, not big talking buds.
Yeah.
Ooh, buds.
Yeah, that's
next
Rodney's-
week the sign's gonna be changed.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
like, I
it's,
like
it's
that name.
like yeah, it's like literally they like don't smoke in here, and then like you never listen. Okay,
What
I
up, guys? How we doing on this beautiful Sunday?
Back
Can
at
we
it
talk
like a
about the
crack
show on
addict.
Friday? How to finish off? It was a good show.
yeah,
It was-
I mean
yeah,
it was
no, it
good.
wasn't
It
a
was
show.
it was tough. It was like
It was tough.
yeah, it was a good but tough show. I feel like
I wa-
everything that could go wrong kind of went wrong.
Really?
Explain to me, talk because I'm sorry,
It
but
wasn't-
I did do a Russian exit and just I don't know what that means, but
Irish.
That was an
Irish,
Irish
thank
accent.
you.
Yeah,
Irish
yeah,
accent.
sorry.
Irish
yo, I'm
accent.
just fucking with
Soviet.
everyone.
Yeah.
Russian exit.
No,
It's
it
when
was
you,
just
What is
like
a Russian exit?
I was gonna say that's
when you go,
That
I'm
sounds-
out here.
That sounds pornographic, though. I don't know.
I was
Okay,
right.
moving on. Please,
Yeah,
a
that's-
bunch of motherfuckers.
That's when the first lady fucks a dog. That's
Yeah.
so
Russian exit. It sounds. I don't know.
my
It
god!
sounds like a hole that I don't know about.
Ivanka's
A
bad,
Russian
Ivanka.
exit. I don't know.
Please
All
fuck
right.
my Russian exit. Excuse me? Please, what happened? 'Cause I did leave.
no,
Yeah,
it's
'cause you feel like it was kind of well, yeah, there was like weird
Yeah, no,
moments.
no.
It was kinda
Okay, if I'm being honest, I'd
Yeah.
say good because I didn't finish the show because as an
Well,
opener,
you opened,
so,
yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. I opened because no matter what, any opener will leave going. That was weird because I don't think opening is always the most. But I loved it. But I left and I was even talking because I did do a lot of new shit. 'Cause I didn't want to hear myself speak again, and
Right.
I just did a show. And so I did some new shit, whatever. I was playing with the crowd and I was watching the video over, and it was weird because that's what I want to ask you is like, how did it finish? Because for me, I did get a sense of like fighting the crowd. If that made sense.
They opened up at a certain point. I feel like
That's what I'm
like a
asking.
looped asshole.
yeah,
Like a
you know when
loopy.
you like really get in there and you just
when
like
you finally just spit and you're like, oh, that works.
well, no, because there's a certain point where like it's
Too much
hurting
spit.
and then
Are we?
but no,
What,
you're gonna
are we
get-
talking about opening up or talking about lube assholes right now?
No,
We're talking about
opening
both.
up.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about open
Okay.
and loop that.
Oh, no,
They're
we're talking about
about the same.
opening up.
because when you
spit,
open up
too
an
much
asshole, you were like
They're
you know,
both.
No,
They're
no,
like,
okay. No,
It's kind of like an audience.
I
though.
did like that transition.
At the
though.
beginning, it's like not that great, but like once you get towards the middle, the shaft is all the way in there. The balls are like slapping up against it. You're opened up, and then you know a breath happens, and
Alright.
it's just like you know what? Wow.
Breath happens like your asshole.
You're
Just,
just,
that kind of thing.
and then
It's like
you're just
Darth Vader. It's
And
like
that's
Darth
what the-
Vader.
And that's what the crowd's
Wait,
like.
and the
is what you're
crowd's
saying.
like, and then you're like, they're like, wow, this is actually kind of enjoyable.
I'm dead.
Yeah,
Dead.
like I don't know. I just
You
thought it was like
relax
a
on
weird room. I thought that the crowd was weird. I felt like everyone was like super like I need this, I need that, I need like you know. So it was just kind of like
Was
as
it-
a producer, it was like a big pain in my ass.
the comics were like needy or like
Yeah, like I
okay.
felt like the entire
Girls in
fucking
the comics were needy, not necessarily the audience.
I
There were a
no,
couple-
I
there
felt
were a
like
couple audience
everybody
members.
was needy because like you know like I check everybody in, so like I feel like me and Gordon are the only people that literally have to talk to every single person that enters the room,
It's a lot of work.
and so like I'm checking them in and he's seating them, and so like it's. Do you guys have any drinks that are gluten free?
No.
Do you,
Oh
do you
my
Bitch, you
guys
just asked for a gluten-free drink, bitch.
Oh my god.
It's like, do you guys know,
Gluten-free.
like, what is the cheapest drink? 2 drinks, but what if I can't have 2 drinks?
What if I can't have?
Do you guys have anything that's not alcoholic? Well, what is it? Coffee or tea? What kind of tea is it? It's like, you know, it's just like,
Go
Bitch,
home.
find a server.
Hey,
it's like,
go
bitch,
home.
if you don't get in your fucking seat right now, like, it's like, I don't have time for this.
People
It's
don't
like, why
understand
do
what
you
you're
leave your
worth.
house?
What are you here for, bitch? Like this is a show.
It's a comedy club.
It's
This
a
is not
comedy
a
club.
fucking tea
You
house.
know what's funny is
I don't
Thank
know
you.
like what kind of oolong fucking green tea shit you're expecting, but you're getting goddamn Liptons.
And
I-
fuck you, gluten free. Fuck you.
I'm-
You're gluten free. Fuck you.
I'm usually really
alcohol.
good at like
Sorry,
starting the
just
show
gotta go.
and like getting some energy. Like even when you introduce me, I try to open you up to the crowd, and it was always just meant like like when you go to make up with someone and go to shake their hand and they just kind of look at you for like a second, like that one like 4-second pause. That's how I felt the whole time. It was always just kind of like make me laugh, like make me laugh. I was just like wasn't more like we're here to
Sometimes you
have
gotta
fun.
earn it.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that's why I said fighting the crowd. I told you like last week I did another show, and you have to fight the crowd. I fuck with it. I love that because it
I
trains
enjoy
you.
it. I enjoyed it, but that's because I'm the host. Like I got up there
Absolutely.
like fucking 10 times.
You just keep doing it.
I keep getting up there. Like
No,
hey,
and that's what
guys,
eventually you're just like,
I'm the continuity.
yeah.
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 And it's
Okay.
like, and then like for the comics, like I felt like the comics were all like, I need to be here, I need to do this, I need to do
Yeah,
that.
there
Oh, there was
like,
wasn't there one
was
bitch
some
that like
ego in
paid
there.
you
Yo, I'm so sorry if I
to like
I'm
move
like
spots.
thank you for just like then you put me up and I was like, all right, I enjoy I really
No,
always
because like you were just like, oh, like, do you need help? And like, I'm just like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, fine, like,
that's what I'm saying. I appreciate it that you were able to. I didn't know you were dealing with that shit. So I was saying I appreciate you were able to just be like, "Yo, got you." Because that's what I was telling him. I was like, I always hate when comics are kind of like they roll in late and then just like, I don't know. I feel like there's a point in place, and even then, it's like, let's say you're like a pro comic and you're really famous in this game. You should still be treating it as if a professional. I'm sorry, but like I did grow up with the Joe Rogan shit. I did grow up like watching Dave Chappelle when he like I watched him young
but
when he was Dave
Chappelle.
Are
always pros.
But the
and
pros
that's
are
what
always,
that's
the pros
what I'm
are always
saying.
pros.
And I heard
Chris Rock's
recently
not late for shows.
Recently,
He's
someone
there early.
Joe Rogan said he goes with comedy, the fakes get exposed quick. And I'm not talking about like when you become famous. I'm talking about like even at this level, any level of comedy, you can always look around and be like, something doesn't taste right in that direction.
For a certain kind, yeah.
And that's why I said,
And you know when other comics do have it right.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like, okay.
Yeah, pros are always pros, and then you got this one where
like
it's
this,
just like this is like, and I'm not gonna name names or whatever, but I
absolutely
literally
not, yeah.
had
There's no need
like
for that.
a comic like offer to
I was gonna
bribe
say.
me to put them up
No.
earlier.
Yeah. She offered cash to put her up earlier.
Are you talking about me? I'm just
If you paid me more money, I wouldn't have called you out in your face.
Can I just put it out there? If you're a comedian and you are listening to this and you're like whatever the situation is, if you're a comedian that's listening to this podcast and you want to get into it, if you have the fucking luck to be able to get put on any show, anything that you're talking to people that also don't do comedy, because
In New York City,
as a young comedian, the one thing that I found that pisses me the most fuck off is when you're just telling jokes to other comedians. And making comedians laugh is one thing, but making an audience laugh is a whole nother thing. You need to learn how to do both, and that's why there's a balance. I understand bribing, but people, like you said, they do a lot of things. We don't need to name
But it's not
names.
even bribing. You're a comedian on a show.
Be happy you're there.
Be happy that you're there. Not who gives a fuck where you're at in the lineup.
That's what.
Be happy that you're there. And traditionally, the way comedy goes, if you're closer to the end, that means that
You have actually better
you're better
experience.
with your better experience. That's where we want the most.
But it's like I've never been like had someone try to like bribe me to go up earlier before. It was just like so like it's such a crazy
But then
thing.
you're bribing to go up earlier so that you can then leave after your set, which is also a fucking slap in the face to the producer. That's a slap in the face to the whole show in general. You're a comedian that's supposed to be there.
It's like I understand like the headliner had another spot and like he needed to go up a little early. I'm fine
I was just
with
tired,
that.
and you know that.
But
like,
it was
yeah,
just
I was
like-
there for a while.
No,
This is
but
your
like
second show in a row.
That was like your
And
second
you
show,
know I came
and
up
you
to-
weren't even on the lineup.
I was
wouldn't
just
on the
going to
show.
point that out.
And like somebody
Yeah.
else, I had asked.
That's when it's acceptable. I was just saying.
No, but like somebody that was
different.
booked on the show, I was like, "Can you go first?" And he was just like, "Yeah, I can go first, but can I go a little bit later?" And then I saw you walking by. I'm like, "Dylan, can you go up first?"
That's how it happened.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, let's point that out. I want to point that out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to go up.
Yeah.
That's opportunity, and that's right place, right time, but that's also always being there. One thing I found out, how I met you, Marissa, was I was outside smoking with Janice. I missed her show because I thought it was at 10, it's at 8. It was the first time I ever missed her show. She goes, "Do you want me to introduce you to Marissa?" I said, "I would love that. I don't know who that is." She introduced us. We became friends. I did your show. Been friends ever since.
Yeah.
That's right time. You see how, just for the crowd, if anyone's watching this, you
you're
see how
also-
he bullshitted? He goes, "Can I go up later?" You talking all this bullshit. I asked you nicely, I was like, "Yo, if you have a spot for me, let me
Comedians
know."
do that, though.
And then you turned
Yeah.
around and you
They
said,
don't wanna go
"Dylan, do you want
first.
opportunity?"
Well, it's all about.
I'm not gonna negotiate. Beggars can't be choosers.
Right.
That's what I'm
Comedians,
trying to get
it's
to.
also about community. Like,
Right.
we all know each
Absolutely.
other. We all know each other. We're all
Respect.
We all respect each other.
Just for the
And
young comedians out
if-
there.
Right, for the young comedians out
That's
there.
all I
if,
wanted to
if
say.
If I book you from a show, you should be there on time.
Amen.
Not really complain about what spot
Don't
you're
say
in.
shit.
Right, because especially if this is your first time on the show.
Hey,
Right, I don't
Like,
know you.
Was that the
I've
first
never
time?
known you. I've never.
Yeah, that
even-
was the first
this
time she was on it.
Ever. Like I've never
Guys,
met you.
I can't stress enough. That's
this is
disrespectful.
through email. Like
In
and
any
then
profession.
at the end of your set, sit now and watch the rest of the show because we
Support.
You produce the show. This is what
Right.
you do. This is what it is. Like, and you never know. You're shooting yourself in the foot when you leave a show early, in my opinion. Because guess what happens? You're missing out on the opportunity to meet all the other comedians
So
that
much.
are there. You're missing out on the opportunity of when the crowd leaves, they're all leaving out, and people are like, "Oh my god, you were so fucking
Yes,
funny."
and that's-
What's your Instagram? Oh my
Exactly.
god, you're so fucking funny. Can I take a picture with you?
You know what's funny?
You're
Every
missing
time I
out
leave
on
a
that
show-
whole aspect
And
of the show.
like to be honest with you, like, I've been in the game long enough that I don't even care about that shit. And to be honest with you, like, if I had the time, like, hours wise, to give like everybody that wanted a spot, I would do it. Like, I'm not one of these ego trippers that is just like, well, this is my stage time, and you need to lick my asshole to get it.
You're like the godmother of comedy New York
It's
City,
like literally, like, if I have the time and you're there, you can have it. If I don't have the time, sorry, I'll get you on something else.
But hit me up, and I will get you on something else because you will.
But I don't necessarily, like, I might not have the time to have that whole conversation because it's just like, I'm like one of these people where, like, I feel like balance in my lineup is important. So, like, you know, it's like I'm constantly like dipping in, and
they don't know
like,
that, and that's
and you pay. She really. People don't know Marissa Smith produces, and she pays attention to everything. You orchestrate the whole show.
And it's
you
like,
make sure they're like, okay, I don't know this comic. I don't know what they're going to do.
Is this energy good?
Is this
like,
energy
I need
good
to, like,
or not good?
Do I need to refresh the palette? Like, sometimes it's like somebody drops bad energy, and it's just like, you know something? I need a comic that's going to do a whole stage cleansing of this stage. Like, you know, like, they're going to come up there, and their words are the sage, and they're going to, like, fucking clean this place out. And then we're going to reset this shit.
You know,
but, like, you gotta.
What's funny is I was doing my normal 8 o'clock spot. That's Janice's show. We all love Janice. And
I love Janice. She's amazing.
As I said, we all love Janice. Like, fucking love the great, love her. And that's my comedy mom. But the show was going weird crowd. I don't know if they had a great time. She always says that some people don't laugh, and they did have a great time. That's why you can't fuck with the crowd. It was just the energy was weird. No comedian could hit the light, and it was weird. So she comes up to me and she's asking me about the lineup. She's asking me like, "What are you thinking? Like, what should we do?" And she kept asking me like, I would tell her what to do. And I wasn't putting myself first. I didn't want to be selfish. She kept asking me again, what do we do? What do we do? I go, do you want me just to go up there and take care of it? She goes, can you? I go, I can, but I can't just do 5. Like, I always do the type 5, but like, I was like, let me go 7. She goes, do what you have to do. So she let me play. Every time I would hit one of my punchlines, nothing. No silence. I was telling him, I just been thinking about new jokes recently. I did 5 new jokes after my regular shit, and then it would kill. And that's what I'm saying, like, as a comedian, like, I'm sorry to stress this because I love you guys, and as producers, to anyone that is watching this on my shit, on your shit, that is young, wants to do comedy, whatever, it's opportunity. If I would have gotten late to that show and to Janice's and left, I would have never met you guys, and I would never do this. So many things are just sticking around. It's just being patient.
Opportunity, communication,
meeting people, saying
being
hello,
there,
like, being
there,
genuine.
being
like,
present.
Just being present really is
not
like
saying
50%
like, okay,
of the
I'm
battle.
going up here, I'm about to do my set, and like I got other shit I got to do after this.
Like I did like she put me on for the Auto Shrunken Head show, and my girlfriend is 20 years old, and I'm 21, just so nothing's crazy. And we showed up, and the guy wouldn't let her in because she's under 21.
Right.
And I didn't realize. I didn't think about that. I just went in honestly. Like I was saying, when you're genuine and honest, that shit shows. Like, and that's why I said the fakes, they get out quick.
And like I wasn't like, I'm like, you know, go do your shit. But like, it's just kind of like, it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, I got it. Everybody's got somewhere to be. Everyone's got something to do. But like,
my question is, are you going to book that comic again?
Yo, that's a great question.
And that's like,
that is a great question.
Based on your how I felt with you, your reaction,
honest reaction,
how you
like, let's
how
think
you
about
like
it.
kind of dealt with the whole situation. I never met you before. You came in, demanded a spot, paid me to get onto a spot. Do you need that type of stress the next time I'm booking a show? No, not necessarily.
You know what's
I don't. So like, here's the thing. So and I don't know anybody else's process. I know my process. And so like, and I know this sounds like super schizo when I say it, but like when I'm producing, like producer Marissa is front and center. When I'm doing stand up Marissa's front and center. When I'm doing a podcast Marissa's front and center. And every one of these people is completely different. Producer me, I don't give a fuck. If somebody goes up there and they do a good job, that's all I need you to do. What I need you to really, really do is do a good job and don't stress me out. That is how I start inviting you to other shit. But like, if you do a good job and you stress me out, I'll say you're as good as you keep doing good work, and then the second you drop off, you're gone. But like, just if you want to keep doing shit, like I've been producing shit for like I produce over 200 shows a year.
Yeah, she does.
I produce shit. What you know what I mean? If you do good shit and you don't stress me out, I'm going to ask you to do shit because you know something, you're good and you don't stress me out. I like the vibe that you're presenting to me, so I'm going to like keep throwing shit your way because I like you being around me. If you stress me out and you do good shit, it's like, well, you know something, I feel like I'm a little light on heavy hitters on this one. I might ask this buddy because like I know they do a good job, but like I'm not going to go extra out of the way for you because you stress me out. I understand that as a producer, I'm going to get stressed out and I eat it.
But you don't need extra stress.
I don't need extra stress, but like I'm also one of these people that I just feel like if I'm eating all the stress for the room, you guys can go out there and kill that much harder because like I'm taking all like you know when you and I'm making assumptions, but I feel like anybody that does my show knows that like if you're doing one of my shows, you know you're handled. Like you know this shit is gonna be good. You know I'm gonna have an audience. Like you know what I mean?
And you know it's.
I agree.
And that's why like you know I'm so low key
like,
though. Cheers to that shit. Cheers to cheers to you as a fucking producer. Honestly,
amazing.
I love you.
I mean, I wasn't trying to do it for that, but it's just kind of
no.
like,
I was just saying. No, that was me.
Yeah,
that was just me saying.
But it's just like I feel like if I can take all the stress off of your backs and I can just say, here's the stage, here's an audience, go out there and fucking kill it.
And that's
but that's how you put me on.
But that,
exactly.
But that's what I'm.
But like that, I feel like as a producer, that is my job.
But
I'm gonna eat all this stress. I'm gonna go home and eat a fucking dozen donuts.
So you can talk to some real fucking people.
But like you guys, all I want you to do, get up there, fucking make people laugh. I will take the rest of this. But if I'm willing to do that and you're adding extra stress on me, then I'm just like,
You don't need that.
It's just once again, I'm sorry to keep fucking pounding it, but it just falls down to the objective. You know, you have to like you're there to make people laugh, and a lot of people get either entitled or whatever. Like I don't want to say like they get comfortable and like I don't know about you, but like I didn't know I was either funny or I really enjoyed telling fucking jokes, and I was even telling him doing your show and fighting with that crowd made me want to do 10 more mics. And that's what I'm trying to say is, no offense, you don't get that when you're paying $5 in a fucking cafe to talk to 20 motherfuckers that are just waiting for their turn.
Own time. Yeah, exactly.
And they don't want to laugh because maybe their set wasn't good. Because I'll tell you one thing. I go up there, I hear 2 fucking petty laughs, I get off, and I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck? And guess what? I don't want to laugh, not because I'm pissed, because I'm not in a good mood. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at myself, so I'm not in a good mood to laugh.
Right.
So now that's my mood. And that's not healthy. That's not okay. Whatever you want to say.
That goes back to the first segment. No, your audience.
But exactly. But that's what I'm saying is, once again, is I don't know about like before.
Because you're not a comedian.
No.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Oh, you are.
No. He is not a comedian. He is not a comedian.
Wait, because you was sitting back chilling. I was like, wait, you gotta have like a opinion about this.
I do. I'm just
DC
taking it
has
in.
been mute.
Oh wait, no, he's the motherfucker that was over here. Like, okay, I'm gonna give you $20 to get this spot.
No, I did it,
but like you should have seen her eyes pop out when I'm just like, I do not need your $20.
You know what's
bitch? Right? You told me that. I'm like in the middle. I was like, what?
$20 doesn't have the power it used to have.
You want to hear something crazy?
But
to change your
you want to pay my phone bill
on the lineup?
Bitch, on it.
Do you know what the lineup looks like? It's a piece of paper,
it's
bitch.
Like, all right, so
with
there's
scribbles
somebody,
out that motherfucker.
But like literally,
okay, like
no, but like
you
here's
paying
the thing.
$20 for this shit?
Yeah.
No,
I'm not even talking about that. But it's literally like, oh, I want to skip somebody that has an Emmy, and I want to skip somebody that writes for SNL, so that
that's who Melissa Smith books,
so that I can go up before them because I have a babysitter. It's just like
babysitter.
It's
bitch. You've never done my show before, ever, bitch.
You know,
and I'm sorry, but it's like
you have a spot. Like the fuck.
I'm sorry, but my drop-ins have Emmys. Like,
Thank you. And
Yeah.
they're your friends, people that you know that come to your birthday parties and shit.
It's
Bitch, who the fuck are you?
I'm like,
I'm
not
a
even,
comment
but
for $20.
Right, and I'm gonna look at you crazy. Then we gonna talk mad shit about you
Exactly.
behind the scenes. Crazy.
All right, here go this nigga with his $20.
Look at ass motherfucker. I want to skip for $20.
Like,
Yo.
I was
Don't.
just kind
And
of
you
like,
better be
Podcast
nice to
talk
me,
about that.
because I will introduce you
No
like
racist.
this motherfucker paid $20.
no, but I'm just kind of like, and you know, like I gotta respect the hustle, and like they were like doing the hustle, and like luckily that time the headliner was just like, yeah, that's fine. But like, don't think that shit's gonna always happen. And also, like,
Because what if the headliner has some other place?
I
Oh,
get
bitch,
this
sorry.
vibe- I get this
Your
vibe-
$20 buys nothing.
I get this vibe from comedians that, and we all want to get there. I get the
Absolutely.
vibe from some of them that aren't there, that they want to be the drop-in person already.
Yo,
You know what I mean? You know, like they want
it's
to.
like it's romanticized.
You know,
the
yeah,
idea,
like,
no,
you
like,
wanna drop
like
in.
Donald Glover's special. It opens up with him in a taxi. He gets out the taxi, walks on. The whole thing is he walks on and walks on stage. You know what? That he's right. I've never thought about that's romanticized.
They do. They want to.
So people think
I want
about
to
it
drop
like,
in the
like
cell.
the green room.
You know,
Like imagine like let's say for you, if like someone came in, they would do the top show. If anyone knows about the Broadway has a downstairs and upstairs. Downstairs has a green room, big large room. Upstairs holds like 80, 90 people max. Like that's like pushing. And
60.
okay, I don't know. And
I know. I sell the tickets.
Yeah,
It's
no,
60.
Yeah.
90s a fire hazard.
Sold out show. Sold out show.
they were putting fucking seats on the stage. That's fucking crazy for your show. Shout out to that show. But it's just if someone came into your show and was like, "Where's the green room?" I'd be like, "You can get off the show."
I'll tell you this though.
I'd be like, "You
'cause,
can like
So
who are you?
I've had like
if no one said that."
Jim Gaffigan when I used to produce at Eastville.
Shout out.
He
I like
used
Eastville
to,
too.
Yeah, like the old Eastville, not the Brooklyn Eastville,
Okay,
but
okay,
like
yeah.
because I was like the second longest running producer at Eastville.
Shout out Eastville.
Shout out
Jim
Marissa.
Gaffigan
That's
used to just drop it, and like he would just he'd come up to me. He's like, "Hey, you know, you produce a show. I hear it's a really good show. I'm Jim, by the way. Would you mind?" And I'm just like, "I know who you are. Of course, you can have some stage time.
awesome.
How much time would you like?" And he's like, "I don't want to bump anybody. How much time do you think?" And I'm like, "How about this?"
And that's why he's famous, people. They're just saying that's
But like
that's
this
genuine.
this is what I'm
Real
talking
comedian.
about. Is that the pros always act like a pro, and I
Exactly.
and I would say to him like, you know something,
And he didn't even have to do that.
you take as much
Exactly.
time as you need.
That's beautiful.
And then he was just like, okay, and he would literally always take himself off at 8 minutes. Like we would not
that's
light
a
him.
professional. That's a
like-
professional.
That's also a person. you
Like,
know,
like he wasn't trying to bump anybody. Like he just dropped in, and like Judah Freelander used to do the same thing.
Hey, shout out
And-
Judah Freelander. I like him. Sorry.
Like no, but these are like awesome guys.
yeah,
They,
for sure.
awesome
like-
comes
and
and
awesome people.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
what I'm
that's-
trying to
yeah.
get to. Is
Yeah.
You got to
These
be an awesome
comedians-
person.
I don't care if you go up there tell dead baby jokes. I don't care if you when you go home you just hate the world. That's why you get your material. When you are talking to a producer and you're in a club, there's every comedian walks with a professionalism, and that's being genuine. That's being nice, and that's not every comic. The joke is comics don't help other comics, but at the end of the day
That's
is
a lie.
no.
That's
It's a joke.
that's not
No,
a
no,
joke.
it's
It's
a-
a reality.
it's,
No,
It's
no,
a
no, no,
reality.
I
that's,
said running joke. I said running.
It's
theme.
like a
It's
thing
running
they say.
theme.
And you know what's so funny
You
about
never know
that?
that?
I was watching. Someone asked.
I'm talking about like on the road, like the whole thing that like Joe Rogan fixed was he would bring on killers with him on, like he would bring good people. Other comics when they tour are scared to bring
Oh,
people
for sure.
that are
Yeah.
with them.
They're
Like,
scared to put
like
you
Joe
on a
has
show.
literally told, he goes, I literally bring Joey Coco Diaz with me because I have bombed because of him. Because he goes and I
He
can't
does it
do it,
hard.
and I can't not do what he does, because you should never do what he does.
But the thing is,
But you
too,
don't
though,
But there's certain people that just kill
that
it.
scene,
Exactly.
that
Like,
scene,
And
and
not
even
every
people say-
comedian will do that.
That scene in
That's a
LA
fact.
is a supported scene. Like if you watch anybody from Joe Rogan to
Andrew
to
Schultz.
to Chris D'Elia, whoever,
Chris D'Elia.
to Fighter and the Kid, to
Joey.
they're rotating
Bert Kreischer.
on podcasts constantly. Like they this I feel like in New York, and maybe I could be wrong because I started doing comedy when I was 20. I'm only 25, and this is on and off for like the past 5 years. So but like I feel like there could be more of a support, and it's probably because New York has older comics, and LA scene probably has a little bit of younger comics. But I still feel like there's a good support system out there, as opposed to
like we were talking the other day. The blueprint is there. I believe the blueprint is there, and and that's what once again bringing it all back around. That's where people like Marissa play such a huge part in the game, because I don't know about your comedy journey, yours. I don't know about like that first time that you ever spoke. Think about that first time you ever spoke to real people, not people, other comedians, and maybe not an open mic with people also rapping. Because that was for me.
Actual
like
show.
I used to in Florida, there'd be other people doing spoken word, poetry, rapping, and I would go up there and tell jokes. That was weird. When I finally would do like Broadway shows and doing your show, even last night, it's a learning experience. And that's when you really get to go home, and you can be upset with yourself, but it's in a way of like, I want to do it more. I want to do it. I want to do it again and do it better. And that's one thing is what I'm trying to fucking beat in these, if anyone's fucking out there listening on my shit and your shit, like the idea that you're in front of real people, you need to fucking say thank you real quick. And thank you to you, because people don't understand is in this blueprint, Marissa, you play a huge part, and people like me and him and whatever trying to go, you know what? I'm trying to go on fucking, whatever show on SNL, whatever. And you know what it is? Real people don't forget real people. I'll know for a goddamn fact if I'm ever get to a point, you already know. I remember who was there for me and vice versa.
And like when you get to that point.
But I think
when you get to that point.
Yes, I said when,
This is the thing that I think that a lot of people, and like we got to wrap it up soon because like he's just like get the fuck out. But the thing that I think is important, and I feel like as producers, as bookers, and as comics, we always forget is that this is a big ass buffet table. There's a lot of fucking seats. It's a big ass buffet table.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Everybody can eat.
Yeah.
Everybody can eat.
Mm-hmm. Everybody people look left and right.
And like everybody is so.
And none of that matters.
Oh shit, you got mashed potatoes?
Everybody puts on these prison rules that like I gotta eat my shit real fast because if I don't eat, then nobody else can eat. And my whole feeling is that like something. If I plant a garden, if you plant a garden, if you plant a garden, you plant a garden, and somebody else has got a farm.
I got you on tomatoes.
And I got you on fucking asparagus, and like you got
the arugula.
And you know something? Like if everybody's planting their own garden and everybody brings their shit to the table,
everybody eats.
We can all feast.
Everybody
but
eats.
like everyone is just so afraid that like
afraid to
I'm not gonna eat enough.
And it's so funny. Some people aren't even in the same lane, and they're just like, well, I feel like if I help you or give you a chance, you're taking something from me. And
if I'm making cheese and you're brewing beer, how are we taking from each other?
Yeah.
But if I put my beer with your cheese, we're making a delicious fucking tasty.
It's so good. Have you ever had beer and cheese together?
Like this is what I'm saying though, is like everybody is so afraid that someone's gonna take from them.
Yeah.
But like
what if we collectively?
If you had something of your own and that like nobody else is doing your shit, you're not afraid of someone taking your shit because no one else can do your shit.
Also, comedians should focus on making the comedy scene in New York like hot. Not just like me. I want to be the only person. It should be hot enough. It's thriving that people are coming to all these comedy clubs.
Can we talk about a little bit what we talked about yesterday?
What are we talking about?
We talked about a lot.
You gotta do it quickly because he's giving me the eyebrows.
Okay. So what he just talked about is so many comedians are going to these places and Broadway, any comedy club, and go, I want to be great. I want to be great. I want to be great. But how many times do you go to a comedy club and comedy show and go, I want to make this club great? Why is the comedy seller the comedy seller? Because people like Louis C.K. found that home when they were nobodies, became somebody, and then guess what? They always go home. They always go home. Right. And then they go home, and then the comedians around there, then the club goes, okay, we can start, maybe like threading it more, not allowing so many, like, I don't want to say new comics, but that's what they do, and that's okay, whatever it is, whatever you want to do. And that's what I'm trying to say. He was saying is, we were talking about this last night, we had a fucking long conversation about whatever, but like, I said, yo, we're doing shows consistently on Broadway, and I love Broadway, and Broadway's at a very great point in comedy, but at the same point is, I want people to go, Broadway Comedy Club? Oh, no, that's Dylan Negri, D.C. Williams, Rodney, Marissa. Like, I know that show.
That's exactly.
I know that show.
But,
I know on Friday nights, at 8. I know finance at 11.
It's going down.
I know what's
It's
going
going
on.
down,
I
yeah.
Right.
You know who's showing up? Oh shit! Oh, he's showing up. Oh, maybe this person's showing up. No fucking way. And
Right.
like that shit's never gonna change. But guess what? No, what's never gonna happen? That's community right there. You see how many?
It is
You see how many
community.
names I
Takes
said?
community.
Yeah,
You see how many
but
people,
that's
how many
exactly-
clubs, all these
and that's
fucking
exactly-
fans.
Right.
Comics
Yeah.
supporting
Not
comics
just
in the
one.
New
Comics
No,
York
it's
supporting
true.
comics.
And I know
And-
not
All
just
right.
one.
You guys are. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say you guys are from New York, right?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. I
Yeah.
feel like
I'm not.
maybe it's like okay. 'Cause I guess people come here and they become standoffish because they feel like New York is like tough and everybody's like kind of like.
You build
No,
the
I'm
community.
like from here. I've always been
Yeah.
standoffish.
Exactly. I feel like people
I was
comics feel
born
like they
that
have
way.
to be.
All
right.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So, all right, you guys, we got to wrap this shit up.
Great fucking
Before,
podcast.
thank you so much for doing
you guys
it.
are awesome
Before
for
we
doing
go,
it.
just tell everybody where can they find you on social media? What projects are you working on? I'm going to start with you, DC.
You can find me on social media, Instagram at only DC Williams. That's 0NLY DC Williams. I have a show at Broadway on Friday, 8 p.m. Also, March 30th, I'll be auditioning for residency at Broadway. So, come show your boys some love, man. And you can catch me on Punisher on Netflix for a little bit.
Nice.
Also in the Bull season 3, episode 10. Thank you guys.
Yes.
I love you.
Dylan Negri.
What's up, guys? At Dylan J Negri, you know how it is. Negri. I did not say the N word. What's up? And I am also on that show every Fridays at 8. I will be doing pop-ins at Marissa's show, and you always know I do that YouTube shit. I do that comedy shit. I'm working on a bunch of new material for y'all. So I'll see y'all soon. I love y'all. This is a great fucking podcast. I love y'all too.
Rodney Daniels.
You can catch me on all my handles at Rodney Daniels.
And behind you.
Instagram, Facebook, everything. And I'm always on Big Talking Brewskis with Marissa Smith.
Hey.
Usually we're on Fridays, but you never know. We might have a pop-up Sunday. But Marissa Smith.
Marissa.
You can follow me on all the social medias at Marissa Smith, Twitter at Marissa Smith. Follow this show on Twitter at Big Talk and Brew. Also, check out my other podcast, Blame Storming, at the Blame Storm on Twitter. You can catch me if you're listening live March 27th. I'm going to be in Jersey City at Bobby D's, 8 p.m. I will also be at Overlook in Midtown this month. And as always, the first Saturday of the month, catch me at Auto Shrunken Head for merriment and mortification.
I will be there, guys.
Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and remember, you guys, just because Mueller's report said that he did not collude did not mean that he has been completely cleared of charges. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Night.